good, everybody? Welcome back. Yep, another great episode of the Gasmasktribe TV podcast where we filter off that bull. Please share this podcast. The more you like this video, the more others will see it. Of course, the topic of tonight's podcast is what is the cure to mental health with family in progress? Notice, man, we ended last night pretty late. How you feel, man?
Woo! About 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. People don't think we really be putting in work, and we take this serious, man. To answer your question, I'm I'm tired, but I got my hurricane, so I'm active. I'm activated. You know what I mean? As long as it's for when it's all for the family, it's for forward progress. I'm with it.
And I think this was really great for the culture, but not only for the culture, but for the fan bam. And for this episode, of course, we have to bring on somebody special for the first time, welcoming into the tribe. You dig? Trish. How are you?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing great. They got to give me some wine for this.
Hey, you got your wine, I got my hurricane, so it's all good.
Little wine, little smoky smoke, and I'm ready to go.
Ain't no wrong with a little smoky smoke, a little wine. That's what we do here. You know what I mean? This is how we be chilling, cause we be, you know what I mean?
I know. I just watched the last one y'all did, the one you sent me.
What you think about it?
It was good. I didn't get to finish it because it's 6 hours long, and I had to get on with y'all.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna finish it though.
That's right.
And we've been working on the time frame. This podcast won't be 6 hours long. It's been a work in progress, and I getting more structure so family members can have their words and be able to express themselves how they want to express themselves. And also, people can listen with a whole heart and an open ear. Not get weary, you know what I mean? So yeah.
So, how's your day been so far? I know we spoke this morning, but how's your day been so far?
Oh, man, my cousin over here with her daughter, and, all my kids is grown, so I'm a bit worn out because just the laughter of a small child makes me tired now.
Wow. I know what you mean. I'm saying,
I got
a house full of girls, and they always battling. They
She just want to play. She want to play. Let's play hide the widget. Well, go play with your mama.
I'm too old for this. That's funny.
The kids love me. I don't know why.
Kids are drawn to good spirits. They just drawn to good spirits and healthy hearts.
So I'm gonna let Notice drive this one for a little bit. I gotta have some technical difficulties, but Notice, hold it down. You know what I mean? Go ahead. I'll be right back, people.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so Tristan, we started in on going as far as talking about what is the cure to mental health with family in progress. Biz said that his is he thinks that the cure to mental health and progress with the family is going to be progress itself, because once a person is successful, and the way they feed the dopamines and stuff like that, it actually it drives the person to become more successful instead of just focusing on the back. Myself, I did elaborate that it starts with communication and also healing. I would like to hear
I think with the family is kind of tricky because people have to heal themselves and have progress to a certain point individually in order to be open enough, adult enough, mature enough to even confront the issues within the whole family.
Right.
Because, you and I, we might be open and ready right now. But get somebody, I saw somebody on the last podcast who had a problem with hearing. So they wasn't ready. as ready as others were.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot harder to communicate with that person and come to a mutual agreement, because that person seemed like they needed to be heard or just speak a lot of extra stuff that I don't know where it was, but you know, everybody has to be open. Everybody. So it's a lot with personal healing first. You have to get to a point personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Has that been a factor, like with you growing up?
Well, this is the thing. I think that has been a huge factor, because I've been personally ready to deal with things the moment they happened.
Right.
Other people don't want to talk about it, don't want to acknowledge it. They want nothing to do with it. Right. So some of my healing comes from being heard, comes from acknowledgement. You know, and it's hard for me to get that when the person who is attached to the problem, you know, we went through it together. This happened between us. I'm the only one that's ready. Nobody else in my family is ready. Right. My mother might say she is, but you know, well, it's to be seen.
Right. So how do we get somebody to be able to? How do we start the process with somebody? How do we, get that open door policy ready for somebody that it potentially isn't ready, but it needs to be resolved. It needs to be done because we're affected by it.
Well, we all have mutual people. So it's like this, like in my situation, I'm cool with Biz. Are we the closest? No. But I can say that, I done been to some of my cousins, his not little, they was nice performances. They wasn't little, they was on point, they was nice. But I done been to some of his performances. I got a rapport with him. So I have a problem with my brother. He has a rapport with Biz. I think they may be closer than I am to Biz. But here I am. If I could talk to Biz and I could get this conversation going with him, and he can see I'm not coming from a malicious or angry or hurt place, I genuinely want to heal and help the situation, then maybe he can utilize his position with my brother to present it to him in a way that he may be able to hear. Because see, from me, he ain't gonna hear nothing. From me, he don't even want to see me, talk to me. I'm dead. I can die. Matter of fact, he wanted to kill. I thought he was trying to kill me. So, like, to me, it's all within you. It's the approach. And some people can be approached by others easier. So you just got to find that mutual connection that you guys have.
Yeah.
And kind of lean on that person, which is what brings the family into it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So we have a few more guests that's in. I'm glad you had, you guys were able to get that out. And we have a few more guests that's coming in. Lane D. Lane D.
Is it Lene?
Lene. I'm sorry. Lene, are you there?
I hope y'all can't see me, but you could probably hear me.
We can see your picture. We
can hear you loud and clear, baby.
Okay, I'm looking a mess today.
And I would like to bring in another person, which is welcome to the tribe. Laney D, welcome to the tribe. My bad.
Yeah, welcome, Lady. Lene.
Hey. How you doing?
Also, we have, oh, wow, this is a ladies panel tonight. Also, we got Vic McElroy. Welcome to the tribe. And also, we have Tiny.
Hi, what's up, sis?
So I'm gonna just put you guys down for a second. Stay there. And you guys be able to hear the convo, but stay there. Put you guys for 1 second. So what I want to kind of hash out was the issue at hand, which is this conversation. Laney D, Lene, I'm sorry, Lene. Do you have anything on what is the cure to mental health with family in progress?
Well, first, I've known Trish for a long time. We're like family. She used to work in my salon. I've known her since she was a little girl.
16.
young lady, I'll say. So we go way back. But just I've seen her grow a lot, addressing her mental illness as far as, things that she was going through, and then learning how to try to navigate through it pretty much by herself. Because I think sometimes family, especially Black families, it's very taboo. It's like we don't talk about it. Or, the simple answer is, and especially if you're from the South, oh, she crazy. You know what I mean? And it's never addressed. And seeing her trying to go, do it the right way, go to the doctors, then like, okay, wait a minute, let me go to an herbalist instead, and really trying to work on getting, hey, what's going on with me, and what can I do to change the situation? Because you can't fix other people, and I think that's one of the big keys is, learning that you can't fix other people. So I feel like she's come a long way in that regard. And then when she was going through her stuff, it kind of helped me see things, because I have some issues with my daughter, who I believe is bipolar, and I had to think a lot about who do I know, and what am I seeing here, and not take it personal. Because sometimes when it's happening, you as a parent, you take it personal. Like, why are you acting like that? Like, why are you being this to me? But it really, right. They're going through their own struggle, and it has nothing to do with you, but how you react or respond to it. And I think her family.
Do you deal with mental health personally, Lynette?
I suffer a little bit of anxiety, but not anything severe. But I guess because I grew up in a family where I saw a lot of things, and then my mom was also a social worker, so I think anything I had going on was kind of addressed pretty quickly. But I think I internalized a lot of it. I don't think it showed up until I was older. Like, when you start dealing, like, when you're a kid, you're not really paying attention. But when you get older, here you are, like, oh my God, I got kids, I got problems, I have bills, and then you start to kind of, oh God, don't even talk about that. Speak on that. That'll push anybody over the edge, And that's when I think it started to come out, because I don't think I realized it until I was older. Some of the things.
So I'm glad you spoke that. I'm glad you spoke of that. I'm going to bring another person on the panel before we get back to Trish. I am a woman empowerment. I am woman empowerment. Hello, are you there? I am woman empowerment.
Hello.
Oh Lord,
Jackie,
what's that? I'm sorry.
See, this is my mental illness right here. Them two right there, they drive me crazy. Ain't no cure because they stay right there. But shit crazy every time. Ain't no cure for crazy. You gotta get away from your crazy ass family. They make you think you're crazy. Ain't nothing wrong with us. I mean,
that's right.
You are silly. You burnt out.
Thank y'all for chiming in.
What do you think? I want to bring this to the panel. What do you guys think? What causes family issues?
Poor communication. First off,
let me start with.
It's the secrets for me.
So I have a few people on the panel. I want everyone to have a chance to speak. You know what I mean, and be able to get the dialect out. So I'm going to start with I am woman empowerment, since you came in the last right now, and then we're going to Lady D, and then of course we're going to go with Trish and then Ty. But I really want to know what do you guys feel is the issues? Started with woman empowerment.
It is mental illness is generational.
But what do you think of family issues?
What are family? Alcoholism, lies. It's the lies. It's the not telling the truths of the family secrets. It's all of the be quiet, don't tell nothing, hush, don't tell nobody hurt you. Don't say that you don't. Oh, and this one, your feelings don't matter.
Oh man.
Discounting your feeling. Absolutely.
Your feelings don't matter. Hush.
Can you give us a personal experience?
Oh Lord.
It don't gotta be all in depth, you know what I mean? But
oh no. I'm an open book. Them two down at the bottom already know what my problem is my mother.
Preach.
It's the mother's sins that ruins the child.
Whoa, and fathers now. Hold up. And fathers.
Well, my issues. Mine.
Right.
Sorry.
That could be your issue, and
True,
everyone's
true.
issue is different.
You're right, cousin. You're right.
My issue is my mother. And
Mhm.
the example now, true story, November 29th, I just lost my father. And I was told that I am nothing but a stepchild and I need to stay in that place and I don't need to know anything that's going on with the burial of my father. That's a learned, taught behavior by my mother that was told to me by my sister.
Hmm.
Now, how can you cure mental illness when I am 51 years old and still receiving the mental anguish that caused the mental instability in the first damn place? There is no cure. You have to heal self.
Amen.
Wow.
You want to keep going, or you want to move the panel?
Oh shit! What else do I need to say?
Drop the mic.
Lene, what would you say are what causes family issues?
I feel the same way. I feel that a lot of times it's poor communication, secrets. For example, and I, we're talking about family. So I come from what should be considered a functional family on some level. My mother is a social worker. My stepfather who raised me, she married when I was 6, was a police officer. And when I tell you that we could write a book on dysfunction, a book, a journal, and then here I am an adult, and when I do certain things, my mom would say, well, I just don't understand your behavior. Now, mind you, she's going through stuff with my stepfather, and I'm watching this stuff as a kid, like, if this is what marriage is, shit, I'll just give me a sperm donor because I'm not really into this right here. Like this is some, effery that I don't need, right? And then she says, I don't understand why you picked the men you pick. I said, well, I was looking at a whole cop. So I figured if a cop behaves like that, there's a thin line between a cop and a criminal. So I might as well ride with the criminals. At least I know where they're coming from.
Woo!
Now I understand my friend.
Yeah. She was like, I don't understand why you keep dealing with these type of individuals. She goes, well, at least he was a provider. I said, criminals can provide, some of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
I'm not say poor pimping, but I'm just saying, And so we had these issues and she didn't understand. And I had to come to that too. But also we get a lot of don't do this. Like as young ladies, after you do it, they tell you don't do it. But when you're dating, I don't like that little boy. Instead of telling you as a young lady how to date, not just, like talk to him, don't talk to him, but break it down for you so that you know what you should be looking for. It wasn't until Jackie, I think you were there too, Trisha. When Aunt Bonnie came in, we had a discussion about men, and she said, stop dating potential. And we were looking like her, like, well, what do you mean? And she was like, if he ain't got his stuff in order by a certain age, you cannot make him into what he needs to be. But we thought we could build a bear, fix it, what. And we I spent a lot of time trying to fix the wrong folks. You know what I mean? When I should have been putting all that energy into fixing them and fixing my behind.
Yeah.
So here I am now at 51, like, woo, I could write a book.
Wow.
But I say it to say that a lot of stuff was not talked about. So as my mom was in a situation with this man being abused, I'm watching her being abused. So anytime a man say anything to me, a female could cuss me, I'll be like, yeah, okay, bitch, I'm all of that. Excuse my French, y'all. But a man would say it to me, and I would really be ready to fight. I'm 5'0", trying to fight it on my tippy toes. What you want to do? Because I had this defense because of what I saw my mother go through, and it was never talked about. Now, mind you, she's a social worker. As a child, I'm feeling like, well, I can't tell nobody because she's gonna lose her job.
Right.
Then I'm thinking, well, this fool might kill us all and get away with it because he's one time. You know what I mean? So it was a crazy experience to be in. And then now I still find myself sometimes looking at the criminal a little bit like, well, at least I know what he's talking about. But then I have a guy right now trying to date me, and he is one time, and I look at him like, I don't know. I'm suspicious of him too. You know what I mean?
Clothing.
Right. Oh my God. Because sometimes he says things. I get the little side eye at him. Like, wait a minute. You know, I don't trust none of them hoes. I'm just saying. Excuse me. At this point, you know.
And her mama is part of the reason, she said.
Right. And I know my mother had good intentions. That's the thing about it. I love my mom. I think she did the best she could with what she knew how. But when she says things to me like, well, maybe if you hadn't dated this kind of person, you know, maybe your son wouldn't think he could do this. And I'm thinking, Mama, you dated somebody that scared me to death. I really thought when they would be fighting that I might wake up and my mom be deceased.
Wow.
You know, and so it's stuff that's not talked about. And then later on, well, you need to get some help. So now I'm getting help. But when I tell you, let's have this conversation, I mean, we can have it. But honestly, she's older now. And I just feel like out of respect, I just had, I think we all might need to seek therapy. Everybody needs to seek therapy to deal with their own stuff because you can't make them fix it. I love my mom, but I couldn't have that conversation with her at this point.
No.
Crazy. That's great.
But you also come to realize that not all problems are yours. And sometimes the counseling just piss you off because they gonna tell you, well, baby, it ain't you. It's the shit that you had to deal with. So
exactly.
Counseling, yeah, but counseling, no. Because shit, that they problem ain't my problem. They wanted to make it my problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You guys are nailing it. I definitely have. The back office is kind of like, I got a few people in here also came in. Erica Curtis, welcome to the tribe.
That's our cousin, Kenny, if you don't know. That's Aunt Jean granddaughter. Aunt Jean, her granddaughter.
What? No way.
I hear her. Yes,
what? That's what's up. And my mom, this could be a crazy, interesting podcast, man. And you know what's crazy? I did not intend this podcast to go for long, but wow, who knows what happens?
Well,
it's gonna be long. Oh, it's gonna be lit. Also, I want to panel. Trisha is our special guest tonight, but Ty, before we respond, Ty, what would you feel is what brings family issues?
First, hello everybody. I'm glad to be here. Everyone is giving some great insight. I just love the dynamic of women and family coming together and just speaking about the things that goes on an everyday. It's going to look different from each person. I love the feedback that the couple of women already said. I think for me, ask me the question again, Biz.
What brings family issues?
What brings family issues?
Please filter out the bullshit. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I would say because we all are so unique and different in our own way. We respond differently. We receive things differently. And coming from a big family and even just my immediate family, we all could have lived underneath the same roof, but all of our experiences are so different, in which shapes us to be who we are today. So sometimes it's hard to recognize why this person act like this, but we all was raised together. Right. You know, why you do this, but we all was in the same house. And what's coming to light for me is that even by a year makes a huge difference in someone else's life. That year is traumatic. You know, that year could have brought so much pain and grief and shaped you. And then I come along a year later, it is different. You know, maybe somebody was protecting me more and I didn't get to see what you saw that year, you know, and it shaped you to be the individual and have you go a different light. So there's so many reasons as to what the family issues can be, but a lot of them kind of hit it. It's not being heard. I think just having that communication of safe, just that safe spot of knowing you can speak freely. And I think for me, my dad, Uncle Lester, you know, he was always a man of speak your mind. So he always gave me the opportunity to speak how I feel without having the backlash, without having the pressure of feeling like I'm gonna get my butt whooped. It's gonna be held against me. He always gave me that safe spot. Whereas my mom is cut different. It was more so the old school values of disrespect. You speak out of line, you speak out of term, you're disrespectful. So
Wow.
it shuts you down. So then you don't feel heard. You don't know, what you can say and what you can't say. And then you start clouding your own judgment. So what you would have said freely and spoke upon, now you don't because, it's disrespectful. Or I may not know how to put it in those terms where it's not gonna hurt or sting so much, so I just won't say it, or I'll just leave that part out. And I think it's just not having that space of communication, that openness amongst mother, daughter, brother, sister, cousin, or whatever. It's just built up a lot of anger, resentment, and then life. I mean, nobody teaches us really how to go through life. Our family can give us examples, however, but until you're in that space and you're doing it for yourself, it's different. So you're not having that open communication. Yeah.
For me, like, that's crazy because my sister here right now, like, for us, y'all know, it was foster care. So even though, we, people like say you grew up with your great grandmother though, but everything was ran by the books of the courts. You get what I mean? There was no getting past that until we was adopted to them. You know what I mean? And a lot of people really don't know that me and my sister was adopted by our own great grandparents. You know what I mean? And I think that brought a lot of issues, between jealousy, envy, us, like me. I used to be jealous of my cousin because they had their parents there. You know what I mean? Like, literally, they had their parents, they had their mom, they had their dad to talk to. I mean, even if their dad wasn't there, they had their mama. You know what I mean? They had their biological parents, what I'm saying. To me, that hurt, you know what I mean, to see that. And I was envy that, even though we may have felt the same, vice versa, where our cousins made have, certain cousins made have felt like we had more than them. And because we was with granny and granddad, we may have had more favor or all this other crap. When it's not, you know what I mean? I just think we have to look at, those things. So that's, where I'm, the issues for me is coming. I definitely want to move the panel forward, but you have anything you want to say before we move it forward?
Yeah, I agree totally with Ty. Like, especially when it definitely hit home when he said, you might be a difference of a year, because that's so much true. And then, we can definitely relate on that because we have so many siblings that are in that short amount of time span, whether it's 11 months or a year or 2 years, because, what somebody may experience that is all well and good for the first year because they are younger and like you said, protected, might be in hell for the next one. It could have been.
We talked about that last time on the last podcast with Untitled. Untitled said, like, Tracy,
there was a difference of the 5 year and the 7 year of span, or 5 year between them two. And I think because that we have so much of that in our family that it has made it difficult in the past to bring the skeletons, if you would, out the closet to address the issues. So now that we have this open platform, and now that we have the time, and we're all older and we know how to articulate ourselves a lot better than what we were taught, we can start salvaging at least a piece of what God has intended for us, period. And I think I love the women that are coming on here and
right, this is big.
It's I love all you guys.
Erica, before you go, Erica, real quick, before we let Trish go, because we do want to hear Trish. Erica, you want to expound on what brings family issues, even though you're like the first one that, like, a lot of the family don't really know who you are. That's crazy.
That's my baby cousin.
You know what I mean?
That's Aunt Jean's granddaughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always missing in action. Only reason why I'm always missing in action is because I don't want to deal with the family drama, none of that. You know, I'm a single child on my dad's side, so it's like I'm just so I ride solo. But it's nice to meet all of you guys. Right now, I'm driving to pick up my kids. Yeah, but it's nice to meet all of you guys. And the whole thing is, like I said, I don't want to deal with family drama. You know, people talking mess about me or whoever else they talking mess about. I don't want to deal with it. That's why I keep to myself. And I really don't make phone calls to people because sometimes I go into depression and all that. And it's just like, I don't want to burden nobody else with that. That's my whole thing.
Right. But see, that's why we're here, cuzzo. You know what I mean?
That's what she tells me every time I get in touch with her.
Cuzzo. Like, you should be able to say that. You should be able to, like, and that's why I'm talking about, like, what brings family issues. And I'm glad you say that because that is a big fucking issue in this family. Where it's drama, there's a lot of little envy, and we here to hash it out. And it's crazy that it takes our generation to create something like this to be able to, like, be comfortable and open to speak about this. I always say that if my family could be the springboard to bless other families or for them to have a conversation, that's building a better community, right? And that's so cliche and so, you know, fantasy world. But the whole objective here is to actually have conversations with my family. You know what I mean? Right. Real conversations and us not really holding anything back and really talk about it. So I'm so glad you said that. You know what I mean?
I definitely
go ahead.
I definitely can relate to. I don't know you, Erica. I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure we're family somehow. But I'm the same way. You know what I mean? I and Ty can contest and Biz can contest it. Like they not contest, but they can vouch for it. Like I dip. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I ride solo. I'll do it all by myself. I don't need anybody. I can show you better than I can tell you. You know what I mean? So and that's been my way of dealing with I guess the inner shit that I've dealt with that I didn't want to deal with, you know what I'm saying, that growing up. But I am now, you know, 36 years old with kids and my own family. I'm learning that moving forward, I'll be able to have a healthy generation of girls by being able, and a better man, by being able to confront the issues at hand. May not be able to deal with them all at once, and I'm not trying to take them all at once and say that we're all therapists here, but it does feel good to be able to have an outlet to where I can feel free to speak to you. I can feel free, and anybody else feel free to speak, to let those things go and just air them out, get them out, get them off my chest. You know what I mean? Right. So because that's where a lot of our depression is, because we keep it so close to ourselves. We're like, no, fuck you. You know what I mean? I don't want you. You don't need to see nothing. You don't need to hear nothing. I don't need to deal with you. Fuck you. Stay away. But at the end of the day, we're stronger as a fist than we are with one finger pointed. You know what I mean? So I totally understand where you're coming from, Erica.
Well, so let's have a conversation. You know, that's what we're here for. So, Erica, is there more, like, is there anything you want to expound on as far as the, you know what I mean, the topic at hand? I do want to move the mic a little forward, but you let me know. Please speak. Please speak. This is our first time seeing you. This is crazy because, you know what I mean, a lot of you don't know. So this is so good. You know what I mean? This is really good.
I don't know. I'm a shy person. That's why I'm just here to listen to what y'all got to say. Maybe I can learn from you guys. That's it.
That's beautiful. Cool. That's beautiful. Yo, Vic, before we hit Trish, what would you say bring family issues, sis?
I would say somebody said earlier, somebody said like family secrets, you know, that's one of the big things is hiding what happened in the past, even though we should live in the future, you know, that's still kind of put
our generations, different generation of the family, headspace somewhere else where it makes them feel like they have to be and act like, you know, their parents or their, you know what I'm saying, the older siblings, or you know what I'm saying, aunties, or you know, it puts our mind somewhere else, like put our minds back in the past where we feel like we have to hold on that facade, keep holding that facade when we really don't have to. We just be who we are, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I kind of feel like a lot of stuff in our family that transpire did move through the generations, you know what I'm saying? Like it did pass down to us, to me, to TT, Ty, and LaRon. Like that shit moved through the family to where it kept us from actually being a family. You know what I'm saying? And me being raised by Granny, me and my brother Biz being raised by Granny, we were raised with everybody in the family. So it's not like we don't know who Ty is or LaRon, or you know what I'm saying? Takoya, cousin Joy's side of the family. Like we know every part and every side of the family. And so that put me and my brother in a different space. But when it comes to the issues, I honestly didn't worry about the family issues because I loved everybody the same. Like, you know what I'm saying? It didn't matter what was going on in the past. I still came with my same energy. I still, you know, came loud, ghetto. I still came who I was. And I didn't allow that past to, you know, the past to hinder my relationship with, you know what I'm saying, my family. Everybody grows up, everybody has a family, everybody has a job. So just the distance and the what is it called, the division, it wasn't because of the family issue. It was because, you know, everybody, we all have our own lives to live, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people in our family might not really give a damn about the family issues, you know what I'm saying? They just have their own lives to live. You know, they just feel like, shit, I got my own kids, I got bills, I gotta work for me and mine, you know. And
And
it's not
rightfully so.
necessarily, you know, it's not necessarily about the family issue. So, you know, just speaking from my heart and from where I've been, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that bothers me is my childhood, and you know, my relationship with my mom, and you know what I'm saying, like my brothers. Like that's what really that's what's really messing with me internally. You know, it's not, you know, something that happened with somebody else in the family, you know. So yeah, that's just where I'm at. Like I just feel like we had, you know, certain people had to keep that facade, you know, and keep that going. And like I said, I didn't care about the family issues. You know what I'm saying? Like I would talk about it with some of the issues with family or whatnot, but that still didn't determine or shape my love for each and every one of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
So
That did not make me say, oh, I ain't fucking with you because what your mama did to my mama, or I ain't fucking with you what your sister did to my aunt, or you know what I'm saying? Like none of that stuff bothered me. But you know, in the family, a lot of that stuff kind of affect everybody, you know, certain people in the family, for us to not to just
yeah,
be separated. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Well said. Well said.
So
Yeah.
Um, Trish.
Yeah. Yeah, you want me to answer the question too, Biz?
Yeah, I want you to
Absolutely.
answer the questions unfiltered, like we do.
Okay, ask me one more time so I can be fresh question asked, because I'm still on all everyone else and what they were saying.
Um, what brings family issues?
thank you.
Okay, I see it as to be something very simple.
Right.
Communication.
You muted.
You muted
You
yourself.
muted yourself.
Communication is a huge part of it. But when we talk about communication, there are different components that go into communicating. It's not just being able to speak, it's being able to hear, and not just hear, but receive. So when I'm listening to all you guys, I'm not thinking about none of my thoughts. I'm just literally taking in what y'all saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of times in it's not just family, it's just communication. People put their self first.
Mhm.
And when you add yourself first and you trying to communicate to somebody else, the only thing you can focus on is yourself.
Right.
So I'm just like Vicky to piggyback on that. Like everybody on this panel has met me at one time or another or seen me at a family function. I've been Uncle Lester, that's my homie right there. You know what I'm saying? I was just at the family reunion, you know. Erica, I call her, try to keep in touch from time to time when I could get a hold of her. I know everybody business and don't care about nobody business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's another problem.
Being in anybody's business.
Because as a family, you should be able to, Biz should be able to go to his sister and talk about his mama and the issues that he having and what he's feeling. And his sister should be able to hear that, but not then get upset at mama too.
That's facts. Me and my sister do. We had those combos. You right. You fucking right.
If Vicky was to take that conversation and start feeling a certain way herself, because she wasn't just listening with an open heart and ear, taking self out of it and being there for her brother, if she's gonna take that in now and internalize it too, now she calling my man, she got a beef. Now her and Biz beefing. Now mama mad at Biz because why is you got your sister tripping on me? Now we got a bigger issue. When what we should do is really learn how to communicate as a family properly. Because when you communicate properly, there are no secrets. There are no you taking what I'm saying this way and I'm taking what you saying that way. There ain't nobody not hearing the other party. At that point, when you take yourself out of it and you communicate selflessly with the person that's supposed to be your family, no matter how much they didn't wronged you, harmed you, or they might have done something to aggravate the situation, you can actually see where they're coming from. And then, because you're not dealing with yourself, you could deal with their emotion.
Right.
You got to do that. That's what the problem is. I can't spend my whole day upset trying to get you to see, okay, I didn't try it and you can't hear me. So now I need to listen to you because you need to be heard more than me, and I can do that. We all got to find that strength, you know? It's just simply communication, but actually learning what the components of communication is so that we can actually execute that.
Right.
I wonder if that's a bigger problem with the men or with the women or in a whole.
Good.
Well, once I feel like what you saying,
that's not
I feel like
No. Hold on. We're gonna answer that. No. We're gonna answer that. No. We gotta.
Go ahead, Vicky.
Go ahead, Trish. No, Trish. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Okay. I laughed because I mean that's a tricky question. Because men and women and our ways of communicating are totally different.
Completely different.
Okay, so I don't know if you can take the way that a man hears and try to say, is it because women, we hear what we hear. We coming from two.
Well, that's what I mean by communication. Is the communication a problem is it more of a problem amongst the women or the men, or is it of the whole? Is it a whole?
Okay. Let me say this. No, let me say this. Let me answer that. For the men, communicating as far as being open and vocal may be more of a problem than it is for the women, because women want to just talk about everything. We just want to talk about it and get it handled. And men tend to take it in, think about it, you know what I'm saying? Get it straight. And then when they ready, they're going to come talk to you.
That's right.
So I think that with men, it's the fact that you guys don't communicate as quickly as sometimes may be needed, you know? And with women, I think with the women, we don't hear as well as we should.
Wow.
I was going to say, for men and women, and this is just my opinion. For men and women, once we get to that point, to that maturity, to where we want to start communicating,
It doesn't matter if if it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Once you get to that community, that maturity to where you're able to sit and listen, to understand, to reply to whatever's going on, then the communication starts. You know what I'm saying? I totally agree with what you're saying, Trish. But my opinion is just like once a person reached that maturity, then communication is nothing. Like we're able to sit and
That's
like
hands down.
this right here is therapy for me. I just left a therapy session. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, once you're able to sit and listen, and then you're able to sit and talk, and you're able to hear yourself, and somebody else is able to hear you, then your communication level, it expands, it widens, your thought process, it widens your speaking process. It's you know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Am I saying it right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are.
You get that
Absolutely.
Anybody want to say something before I move on?
I just want to say that obviously we are all that mature. We're all there. We're just talking about.
I want.
And that's
I
a
want
call to everyone for growing up.
I would say like I understand both, and I feel like there's no really one answer to it. I feel like there's just different. There's so much like that onion. It's like so many layers to that question. It's such a loaded question where, yeah, biologically, we are completely different, men and women, in the way that we communicate, in the way that we receive things. It's just we're just built different. So just on a gender level, absolutely, we're completely different on that. And then you put everything else we've already talked about, which shapes your communication. So you may not even know how to communicate. You know, your way of communicating could be yelling. You know, we're loud. Johnson's, we loud shit, and we scream. And when I'm mad, I cry. And it comes off territorial. It comes off like, oh, what the hell? You think you got nuts or whatever, whoopty whoop whoop. But it's coming from a place of passion. It's coming from a place like, I'm telling you this because I love you, and it seems like it's not getting through. But then you can sit back and it's like, it's not that they're not understanding it. They may not know how to respond to the way that you're communicating to them. You know, theirs could just be being quiet, being very reserved, you know, being more submissive. That's just the way that they take it in. And then we take it a different way. So we're so different, tricky, intriguing, different individuals. And then you put gender on top of that. It's just a world of just differences. It's so hard. That's why relationships is so hard. Romantic, friendship, anything. It's just we're different from one another. So, and I just think that that's really, we could be here literally. I think that question would never be answered where everybody's going to be on one page. Because you said that, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That is true. I agree with that. I hear that. Then Vicky said that, and I was like, hell yeah. Then I'm thinking about my relationship, and I'm like, damn, that nigga don't. Well, I think that's why. You know, so it's just so different. But everybody brings a little bit of AT, and it all makes sense. But we'll never get to the root.
So that's why, you know, I'm glad we are, you know, having these conversations. But you said something great about, you know, it was about the women, and it makes me want to ask the question that I posed the other night with the women, and it was, do the women in the family trust the men in the family to lead the family?
Big question.
My answer is, from what I can see, no.
Hey Trish, wait before you start. My brother asked me this before we came on, and I'm like, I said the same thing. Like,
no. What I can see, and I'm not speaking about just me personally. I'm saying if we talking about the family as a whole, and I'm looking around at our family dynamics, the answer is absolutely not. The women do not trust the men wholeheartedly to lead.
And it's a bit biased because we are woman-driven family.
But you know what? That means nothing. Let me say something.
Okay, check,
We
check,
woman
right.
driven,
Check.
but
What I
see, that's
think
gonna
is-
take us somewhere
okay.
totally. Because
It is.
No, look. What I'm saying, look. What I'm saying is, like, if do the women in the family trust the man enough to lead? Let's just put it that way.
Okay, better question. Better question.
trust enough to no. I thought I answered that.
I guess it's the same way.
No matter how you word it, the answer will be no. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying that's the way it should be. I'm just saying if I'm looking and I'm being honest, no.
Okay, ladies,
How do we
you
change
guys.
that?
No. I want to move. Let's move it around. Let's
Sure.
see some other
Sure.
filter. Let's filter out the BS on some. You know,
We'll keep that.
Lene.
Yes,
I've been having you in the background for a while. And,
no problem.
Do you believe the women in your family trust the men enough to lead the family?
I'm a little bit at a disadvantage because I come from a smaller family. The larger part of my family is in Louisiana, and we've been in California since I was 2.
Okay.
So I'm a little bit at a disadvantage. I can say from my own personal perspective, and some of my friends and my peers, Jackie and Trisha included, I think we have trouble trusting the men to lead sometimes because they want you to be submissive, but they're not worth submitting to. Based on their actions or deeds.
Okay. Wait. Can while you say that, I'm going to look up the definition before we can break that down, because I feel I have a little different meaning about the word submission and what it really means to submit. And I think a lot of women may have a different connotation, especially Black women have a different connotation in our family, definitely, about the word submit, that it's like a slave term or some shit. You know what I mean?
No, that's not what I
Read
mean
the
by it.
definition.
And it has nothing to do with
But
that.
you know what though? That's not what I mean at all.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So when I say that, so for example, a guy say, "Well, you need to listen, woman." Da 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 da.
Right.
I feel like if I feel like I can trust you to tell me what to do, if I can really trust you, then I'm gonna follow that. But you have to show me through your consistent. But you have to show me through your consistent behavior, actions, deeds, character, all of that, not just your representative, that you're trustworthy. Then I will willingly submit because I'm tired. I need a break too.
Okay, but this your cousin, this your dad, this your uncle, this is
even so with your father. For example, I was telling my son recently. I have a 22-year-old. He's having a debate with this girl back and forth, which is paining me to see it because as a mom, you see the errors. And I'm saying, son, you're having an argument with this person who's nonsensical. But you at this person's house, though. You're at this person's house. So what are you bringing to the table? Because I'm not saying you don't do anything. But what I'm saying is, in her eyes, a lot of people are looking at the dollar solely. What are you doing that she considers respect? Have you guys ever discussed the terms of the relationship? What you feel value? Like what do you think she should be doing? What does she think what are your expectations? Because if not, from what you're telling me about this young lady, her mom doesn't work, her father's a CEO, and she's been provided for and coddled her whole life. She's kind of one of them little gilded flowers.
Right.
You don't come from that. So you're looking at her like she's crazy, and she's looking at you like you're lazy.
Right.
Wow.
So it's a lack of communication. Again, all of it comes back to communication. But again, I feel like a lot of times women, when we get angry, we hold a lot of stuff in. And we don't communicate till we're pissed. So we fly off. By the time we go, we popped all the way off.
I don't think necessarily. I think women.
She's speaking for herself because that's what she does.
Excuse me. I have learned how. Chris, I have learned how to respond and not to react in my older age. I've been very calm.
I've seen that. We both have grown.
That's facts. That's facts.
I mean, but communication is key. I think all of this stems from communication. And then knowing your audience. Like if I'm talking to somebody that's high and drunk, why am I having this conversation with him at this time? It's not the best time. or if he's really, really angry.
Angry.
Hold on. Back up.
Not everybody take drinking and hide like you. Some brothers
No, but
drink and get high
first of all,
in their right mind.
You're from a long line of functioning motherfucker addicts.
no, but I don't mean it. But I don't mean it like that. What I want.
My brother wasn't functional the other day.
But that's not what I'm. But that's not what I mean, Trisha. You know that. Like, I don't mean recreational, but some people be like super belligerent or super ignorant. You know, like, okay, wait a minute, I can't have this conversation. Just too much. I mean, like like I drink and smoke socially and occasionally, whatever. But I'm just saying that you have to know who you're talking to. Like when I'm talking to my daughter and she's having an episode, at that point, it gets to the point where I used to argue with her and banter back and forth. Now I can look at her and walk right away from her, because this is not the conversation we need to have right now. Because as angry and as hostile as you are, and as much as you think you want to fight, you my child. You don't even want that crazy to come out. It might be some stuff like a flashback from slavery. You know what I mean? You need to leave me alone. So I've learned how to walk away. Like I said, I learned how to respond and not to react. Because I used to react. Yeah.
Get yourself a smokeless tray because you don't want to smoke.
Right. So I just feel like we're just growing, and it's all of us. At some point, you get mad about your parents or your family or your friends or what somebody did to you who hurt you. But at the end of the day, what are you going to do to fix how it made you feel and move forward?
Right. You know what, Biz, this is real quick. I think it's real interesting that T said it's still a no for trusting the men to lead because we wasn't taught good enough leadership. I think that's very strong.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
I think that, but that,
you know what?
Y'all are self-teaching.
Wait. I'm gonna tell you something. Look,
we self-teaching ourselves how to be women too, though. You gotta get that dynamic. We're having to teach ourselves how to be women too, which means in teaching yourself how to be a woman, that's when you learn how to submit and trust a man too.
That's respect.
So y'all wasn't taught everything, and we wasn't either.
Even though I would doubt, I think me and Biz, we both come from a household now, or we both are now in a household where our women will feel different. Like,
oh yes, because I tell you what, you learned and you went, when you taught yourself and I look at Biz, I see Biz life. I could respect him as a father and a family man.
Absolutely.
I can't say that for everybody, and I would say that if I couldn't. And I can respect him as that. But he didn't get that from nobody around here.
Who?
You didn't. Who taught you? Because your daddy, your granddaddy. I mean, like, it probably came at some point from some of the men. But growing up, you didn't get what you got right now. You didn't get that. You didn't see what you have right now.
Okay,
what you created for yourself.
Okay, so I would say this. Yeah, I may be a unicorn, maybe most people say, but I would say it because I didn't have shit. And I feel I didn't have shit because I didn't have a mom and a father there, like, 2-parent household type of shit, right? So I always wanted to create what I saw on TV.
Me too.
Absolutely. That's real. That's really
we all saying we learned from TV how to be in functional homes at one time or another, because I will say this. Let me say this. I moved around, and since I was 13, I never lived anywhere more than 6 months. I never unpacked my bags all the way until I was like 22. True story. And in that, I lived in one functional home. One home that when I left that home, I was devastated because it was the first time I had ever been in anything where I was like, whoa, I'm actually the kid. Like, I don't got shit to worry about but cleaning something. Are you serious? Like, we got chores in this bitch and get allowances? Like, it was amazing. So I had one situation like that in the family, and I was there for like 6 months. And it was back to watching TV.
All right. So I want to move it to Ty and then Erica. But Ty, do you Do the men in your family, do the women in your family trust the men in your family to lead?
That's kind of a hard question for me because when I feel like I'm just now really becoming seasoned with who the men are in the family and what are their positions and where they're connected and where they rooted from. So when I think of the men, I only have just a few that I think of. And my dad is one of them. And for me, I trust him cold-heartedly. I feel like a lot of people trust him cold-heartedly because he stepped up to the plate, even in his addictions, even in his times of needs and buckling. I feel like he stayed grounded in a lot of areas where people can respect that. So they trust Uncle Lester, Daddy Uncle, to come and save the day or bring some type of sense of hope that it's going to get done. So I think when I think about the men, the first person I think of is him. And then from him, I think about granddad. And I see how he's built. And I see even at the age that he's now, he honors his wife in everything he does. And I love that. And I see how a lot of things came from like that he taught my dad and what my dad kept going, you know. So I look at when I think of the men, I think of granddad, I think of my dad. And then as I start to go further down the line of the younger men, I feel like, yeah, we got some definitely good candidates up there where I feel like I could trust, that I would feel comfortable with going into battle behind and knowing that they would lead us and their goal and their objective is to solely get us to safety. So I have a few of those, Biz being one. I feel like LaRon has such a pure heart where I would trust him with my life because his heart is really pure. And that's rare to find. And I'm happy that that's my brother because I feel like I got a little bit of an advantage. Like, nigga, I'm your sister. But then, there's other ones that I know that are coming around, like Cruz. I see a different side of him as I'm coming around him more. He does have a good heart, but he's still caught up in life. Life and worldly, where he doesn't have that same sense of that. He may lead us to the fucking fire. If we go get out and we like, we need to turn. We gotta turn. I'm jumping ship. I may jump ship with Cruz, but there's other ones that are different. Other ones are different.
Oh, shit, nigga, you went left.
Oh. Yeah. But I see it. I see the characters, and I feel like just me being around more and having those conversations with these men and watching them, like really just sitting back and watch the way they move. I'm proud. I'm really proud because it's not for the show. It's going to show up when they're around their family and how they move, and that shows you their real character. So there is a few men that I say that, yeah, absolutely, I would trust you cold-heartedly. Like we gonna be good. I feel comfortable. I feel safe.
I definitely would say I definitely seen a lot of those actions that you're talking about between a few other men in the family.
Like my papa.
Right.
Granddaddy Lewis. Everybody know him as Uncle Lewis. Papa Lewis, definitely.
Yeah, okay. So let me just speak on this, right? So this is it, right? Okay, so my girl here, Ty, that's your name, right?
Yeah, Ty.
Okay, that spoke, right? She's speaking. She's speaking from the other side, right? So, and the things that she said, and the people you talked about, I know them, and I see the same thing, right? That's. But on this side, you mentioned your pawpaw, right?
Yeah,
so
I mentioned my.
I come from a different perspective because I saw before he was the man that you see. You know what I'm saying? I got to see him now and I got to see him then. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
he got my dad.
Just like Ben said, he grew, he the man he is. Like he did with his thing. He chose his path with his family. He looked at TV and said, that's the family I want right there.
Well, wait. Pump brakes. Hold on, Ninja. Hold on, Ninja. It wasn't like I looked at this old Peckerwood ass family. It was like, yeah, I want the ideal Peckerwood family. Yeah, man.
Shit, I wanted the Peckerwood ass family.
What's wrong with the Peckerwood ass family though?
Give me that Peckerwood ass family. They got good credit.
I wanted the Huxtables. I ain't gonna lie. I wanted the Huxtables.
Well, what it was
either or.
It was me seeing a different side of life that was not shown, right?
That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Even though my Uncle Lester did, like, he was the one closest to me that had close to that lifestyle. You know what I mean? And then it was, okay, what other dude in the family has that? And Pops was already older and he was already retired. He's living off of old money. You know what I mean? So, and I'm talking about, granddad. So as far as any other dude, it was G-Pops. G-Pop's the only dude that was doing 6 figures a year. He was like, the stand,
Yeah, I told you earlier.
Wait.
Yeah, okay.
Despite of motherfuckers' faults and all this other crazy shit, Ty said it earlier. Yeah, my pops did drugs and blah, 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 whoop, whoop. But when it comes to at least like being thorough and stability and, at least leading us to be thorough for the next 20, 30 years.
Oh, no, Uncle Lewis is the most stable, thoroughbred. I'll never take that from Uncle Lewis. I said it earlier. He the only one I could ever call in a bind and ask for money, and he gonna give it to me every time he had it.
Right.
Hey,
so
that's who I was talking.
It wasn't. So no, wait. So when I look at it, I'm not looking at it so much of a stability financial. I'm looking at it as a mental case, right? It's literally a mental thing, right? These men aren't men who just walked through life and got a job and just they went through a lot of shit. Whether they went through it and they would have baby mamas and blah blah blah, say kids, whatever the case may be. You get what I mean?
May or may not know.
He's a man. Right. That's what I'm saying. His life he grew into.
All I'm saying is look at the man. But I'm not saying look at the 10, 15 years from now. They're still willing to have the conversation. Right?
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My G-Pops was like, look, unless you do an interview with all your aunties, because I want to know what they think about me. I want to know what I want to see the conversation with them, right? He said, until you have that conversation, then I'll get on, because at least I'll have a standpoint of where my daughters are, looking at. Why? Because there was a lot of bumpy roads. You get what I mean?
Oh, you talking about, you said all your aunties, and I went to all my aunties. You mean Tracy and T?
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And why? Because there's some, but still to this day, he is at least willing to have the conversation.
No, he's always been like that. Let me tell you something.
Look, my Uncle Lester told me the same effing thing. He said, you can get all my kids, both batch, I don't know what you call it. I want to hear how they think of me. I want y'all to have the conversation, real up, no filter. You know what I mean? Filter out the BS.
That knows though.
Look, he told me some stuff today that we had our last podcast, right? On our last podcast, we had Ray Ray. Y'all know Ray Ray is locked up right now.
Yeah.
Right? So on our last podcast, I told my uncle straight up, right? My uncle he literally by law, he's my brother. But you know what I mean? By blood, he's my uncle. You know what I mean? And people don't know that because we adopted.
Ty, do you know who Ray Ray is?
I don't know if they know.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know who Ray Ray is.
So check this out. So check this out. So the conversation. Hold on.
Hey, I'm gonna talk to you after the podcast.
Well, for my
y'all joking if y'all for real, because I can't say it.
I'll talk to you after the podcast.
Wait. Let me read the comments. Let me read some of these comments. It says, well, for my Uncle Lester, that's been there, and Ben that man in my whole life and the man and father of this family.
Yes,
Yep,
yes.
she's right.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Same here. Same here
Same
for
here.
me.
Same
Like
here.
Uncle Lester, he's
That's why I know Uncle Lester
Hey,
from y'all
Uncle
side,
Lester.
because he's that role
Tahisha
model on y'all
McKenzie
side.
Hey,
said,
Uncle Lester.
that's
Uncle Lester.
wait. Let me read some of the comments. Tahisha McKenzie said, that's your brother, girl.
That's your brother, girl.
Candy Tove says, Biz, please read comments. I know I gotta keep reading the comments, man. I got
Ty,
look, okay, so I'm gonna stop in a
after
few
the pod.
seconds and read the
We'll talk
comments.
after the pod. Fuck me up too.
Tahisha McKenzie said, wait. Tahisha McKenzie said, leave my son alone. We was talking about Cruz with Tyson.
No, we're talking about Ray Ray. Ray Ray, her son.
Ray Ray, her son.
No,
No,
TT. She said,
no,
TT
y'all,
said, leave my
whoa,
son
quiet.
alone.
Hey, stop. People, quiet. Vicky, hold on. So, and tell Loretta in the background, mute her mic.
My mic is muted.
I'm muting myself. Yeah, man.
You like asshole.
Oh man. So let's go ahead and move this along.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we got more comments coming in, but definitely I want to get to Erica. I know this is your first time, being on this with us, talking like this, and I would just welcome to
you gonna
welcome
have
to
to
the
go to
family.
somebody else because my kids is acting fool.
Okay.
I
would like to know, like, for the family, like, what's a question you guys want to pose? Like, is there a question out there that you guys want to pose?
Because I have a couple.
You know what I mean? Put it in the comments. Throw it in the comments. A question, a real question that's gonna open up the dialogue that you guys may want to know.
So I have another one where I want to pose. While those questions come in, I have another question I wanted to bring to the panel. Holding family accountable, wrong for can be hurtful and may hurt the family legacy. I'm sorry, I got to rewrite that, but pretty much what I meant was we got to hold our family accountable, right? You know what I mean? And a lot of people, that's very uncomfortable. People don't want to do that. That's stepping on toes. That's stepping in uncomfortable positions, and I really, it's and most people may say, oh, you're asking for trouble, right? Shut up, stay in the child's place, right? You know what I mean? Well, shit, I'm 34 years old. When the fuck we gonna have this conversation?
Yeah, back.
Right.
For real.
51 years old and I can't voice my opinion.
So, you know what I mean? Like those are the things I'm thinking of. You know what I mean? That I feel. So I don't know. Y'all let me know. You know what I mean? When is it a time to hold each other accountable? Whether privately, you know what I mean? Because I ain't trying to, like, you know what I mean, where people got to make it we got to make it publicly or whatever. You know what I mean? Just privately, whether we could just sit down and have the conversation. When do you think is that time?
When everybody is calm and in their right mind, nobody's angry and upset, and they can actually sit down and have a conversation. I don't think sometimes in some situations it's good to do it right then and there. Just be accountable, go at it right then and there. And other times, you're not gonna get nowhere. So but you need to do it. I don't think you should ever just walk away from it and not do it. But sometimes you can't, because it takes two people to have that conversation, and sometimes one ain't willing. So,
and I feel like everybody's always going to be uncomfortable with having that type of conversation. There's never going to be a right time or a right moment or the right space or right there. Sometimes you have to shove a motherfucker into it. You have to bring them, drag their ass. Bring you. Because I know about a month ago, before my mom passed, R.I.P., I was in a space. You know what I mean? There was times that I reached out to Ty and I asked her, like, yo, pray for me. Have I not? Like, because there was been times I've been in a space, but sometimes it's gonna take us or individuals like Biz, you, Trish, that are people that are strong minded, Ty, Vicky, us, when we're on our game or whatever, to drag a motherfucker, see and recognize that, yo, you're not all right. Come here, come here.
I'm trying right now to do that.
And it may not be the point of like we're like trying to take you under our wing or nothing, but let you know that we see you. We see you and we want to listen to you. So come here, talk to me because I'm willing to listen.
I think it's hard.
Mackenzie said, brother, why you so upset? Why you always upset?
I'm not upset, I'm passionate. I'm a passionate person. I'm not upset, I'm passionate.
I think I know. I mean, coming from me, because I just feel like I don't know my family as well as I would like to know them. So uncomfortable. Like I'm very open to speaking to whomever. I can be whomever, but to pull someone's card or to get in that space of saying, hey, that's not cool or whatever, as Daddy would say, pulling somebody's coattail, I feel like that has to be some type of a relationship and a bond. And I feel like until you checking in with that person on a regular, it's really hard to receive anybody to pull you on anything when you don't have no type of relationship. And I always say, just coming from me, like, family is just a word without a bond. You know, you my family. You coming on here, you letting me know, okay, I'm so and so, and you speaking on, you know, all the big people in the family, and oh, I know this and that. But if I don't know you, I just look at you as a person, like, you know. So back in my mind, I'm gonna think like, who are you to tell me anything, you know? Even though I may sit back and be quiet, but it ain't gonna get to the point of you receiving it. So I just feel like if we start taking the time out to love one another, to check in with one another, you know, stop being on social media or whatever, taking that time out just to shoot a text, to invite them to your kid's party, just to see how they doing, you know, then people are more receptive to saying, hey, you know, by the way, you know, I kind of been seeing you moving different, and you know it's coming from a place of love. You know it's coming from a place that you want to see that person win. So for me, at least, I don't feel comfortable checking nobody if I don't even call you, or somebody died very close to you and I knew of it and I didn't even see how you was. I don't feel like I'm in your space or even have that type of ability to like come at you like that. So I just feel like I would always try to build some type of rapport, some type of relationship, some type of bond, some type of just, I'm there. Hey, this is who I am, and I'm consistent. And then I would be open to accept anyone's feedback. Like, okay, yeah. And you don't know what comes from that. They start, you know, talking like, da, 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 you know, so it's just, that's how I feel about it when it comes to resolving issues or checking somebody or pulling a coattail or however you want to word it. That's where I'm at.
Anybody want to go else to respond before I read the comments?
Are we answering the question that's going through the bottom of the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
When is the time to have tough conversation? Is that what we're talking about? I feel like
Yeah, we're family.
I feel like the time is whenever you feel like you feel comfortable, like Ty said. Like you know, when you feel comfortable with talking to whoever it is about, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like now, you know, some of us might have some shit on our chest that we might want to say. You know what I'm saying? Now is the time to address it. When we having this outlet to address them tough conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to go back. Tanisha, Ray is your brother. That's something that's a family secret. You know what I'm saying?
Here
And
we go.
I'm just keeping it real. Like, Ray is your brother. You know what I'm saying? And hey, it everybody know.
I mean, yeah.
Y'all probably don't. You know, like you said, for real, you just playing, or you know, we for real. Every time anybody see her, like Uncle Lester's son.
It's
You know what I'm saying?
it's
So,
uncomfortable, but it is
but
something that needs aired out.
before we had this outlet, I've never thought I would be telling you that, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never anytime I see you, I never just walked up to you and say, "Hey Ty, you know Ray your brother." Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
And
knew
that's
that was
one of
gonna
them
happen.
tough conversations to have with you. You know what I'm saying? It's because that's part of family secrets. It's going back to family secrets. You know what I'm saying?
And revealing it.
So it's just like, you know,
and being able to walk through them and not be just gripping on.
So yeah, that's just how I feel. Like, whenever, you know, just being able to, you know, and like you said, you got to be comfortable with talking to whoever it is about something hard. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be comfortable, because, you know, I might walk in the room and just the whole energy is off.
Oh,
And that
hell
right
no.
there keeps me from opening up and expressing how I feel. Just walking in a house, or a funeral, or you know what I'm saying? Like, just getting that energy. You
That
know what I'm
vibe.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me like, oh no, I'm not wanted here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I can't really be myself because I'm here, or no, but everybody know who Vicky is. Oh shit, Vicky here. You know what I'm saying? So, and then like for tough conversation, a lot of stuff that we're addressing now, it never has been brought up to. We were never that open to talk like this, that like we're talking now. You know what I'm saying? So, um, you know, it's just like, whenever you feel like it's time, like whenever you feel like you fed up and you tired of feeling the way you feeling, like I had to talk to my grandmother. For instance, I had to talk to my grandma, and I had to let her know, like, hey, like, I don't want to be your sister. Like, I don't want to be treated like a stepsister. Legally, I'm her sister, but I'm also her granddaughter, and I want to be your granddaughter. I don't want to be your sister. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of us bickering and going back and forth. And, you know, me and my grandma, we didn't see eye to eye, but now today I can say our relationship has grown, because I've grown up, and I realized my doing, and
Yeah,
being disrespectful. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
but
So
you, but I, my feel to this question is, I think to have those conversations, you have to bring that person to a side. Like, that's not, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There's some things people, and then when that person is uncomfortable, when they're like, well, I don't want to have the conversation, then it's like, well, where else do I go? I get it. You know what I mean? But I think those times when, like, I was going to bring, like, that was something we was going to have with Uncle Lester, with, you know what I mean, with him. He told me that, you know, he wanted to have that. And that's something I feel that you have to let that party have that conversation without you initiating the conversation. And I think that's when things become, like, you know, on bad terms. You get what I mean? Like, I don't think people understands, like, when it's, you know, I don't think people understands, like, okay, for the issue between certain people, right, Trish? Like, I wanted to bring you on first because I didn't want to bring the other party in without, you know what I mean? That's not my
Yeah.
place. Not so much in my place, but that's not like a place where I feel like I should have to, you know, bring that up. You get what I mean? I think
Yeah.
when people, like, when is it time to have tough conversations? It's like, you know, like my sister do it with me, right? My sister would call me, like, if she have an issue, my sister has no problem. She would call me, she would pull up on me like, brother, this ain't cool. I don't give a damn what you talking about. She would cuss me out. She would do whatever for me to
and I
get the
and
picture.
I'm sorry to cut you
You
off,
know, you
bro,
know?
and I apologize. I apologize, and
Wait,
you're
wait, wait,
right.
wait,
It
wait.
was wait, let me just apologize because it wasn't my position to say that. You know what I'm saying? I really do apologize, and it was no bad intentions. Like I was not trying to, you know what I'm saying? It just came out honestly, you know.
Yeah,
So
because you
I
blew
want to
the
apologize,
fireworks right
Ty.
off the top, nigga.
And I'm apologizing for that because that's the type of person that I am. I'm gonna say what I want to say, and I'm
She
gonna speak my
fired.
mind. You know, like this is how I feel. Like I'm just gonna speak. But I will come back to you and I will apologize for my wrong. And it wasn't my place to do that, you know. And I apologize, Tanisha and LaRon.
And that's why I said I was like, yo, I'll talk to you after the podcast.
Right. And see, and I apologize.
I mean?
I'm
so
sorry.
Let's
It's
do
cool.
let's do some of these comments right quick. There was a couple of people that says yes, they have to talk about it face to face. I think they at least should have the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? You know, another one is
shit. Here we go.
Here we go. Another one was where you can pull up and tell me that you love me and say to me anything because I need to hear it. Right. I mean, I get what they were trying to say in that message.
Because she responded to when I was like, yo, we can pull you. We need to pull people to us.
Right.
And exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Overall.
Also, that's exact. Oh, that's all right. My bad. I didn't know so motherfucker was posting something crazy.
Yeah, it was. I was like, yo.
I would delete your ass in the motherfucker.
Hey, you about to get
if
blocked.
I see motherfucking weird shit, I will cut your ass quick.
Talking about Lewis.
Hey, straight up. I'm glad you clarified that shit. Straight
My
up.
bad. Thank you for clarifying that. I'll unblock him. My bad.
Little Lewis.
I'm quick enough for that, man. Ty, you want to respond to that before we move on? I think what's it called? It went up. So we have Ray. Unmute yourself, bro. Ray, unmute yourself.
There you go.
I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
How y'all doing? How everybody doing?
Hey, y'all. Hey, everybody.
That's who y'all calling Ray.
Let me get you.
Well, what is his name?
It don't say Ray right there. What it say down there?
What it say, Ty?
So I see you got on.
I'll still talk to you after the podcast, you know, straight up.
This a little much for me.
So
I know.
What's going on? What I missed?
But like I said, Ray, you just came on. Auntie, you just came. What's up, Auntie? How you doing?
Hey. Yeah, fill me in.
Oh, that's good.
So, well, I kind of left off on Ty. Just wanted to see what she wanted to respond to what Vicky was, talking about.
No, I don't have nothing to respond on that because this is the first time I've heard of any of that. I'm in loss for words for that one, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm just taken back on that. But no, I don't have no comments right now.
So I mean, technically, I genuinely like for people to have the conversation on their own. But Ray, were you listening?
Yeah. No, actually, I wasn't because I had my phone on charge. I just took it off charge, and somebody called me and told me to log in.
Woo!
Oh, Lord, what happened? I wasn't listening. Fill me in.
So I did. So this is because this is the thing that I was saying. Like, I don't get into brother and sister shit, right? I don't get into husband and wife shit, right? I really let the people handle that. You know, if they want to bring it to the forefront, then I let them bring it to the forefront. You get what I mean? I technically don't get in the way of that. I just, you know what I mean, like to have the conversation if they would like to have it. My auntie, Laurent, Notice and Duty had the conversation. You know, my auntie Tracy and Monty Pooh had the conversation. You know what I mean? And this was my way of having Trish on to talk about, you know what I mean, her story and things like that, and to have more of a side to get my other cousin on. But I didn't want to necessarily get, you know what I mean? You kind of want them to have the talk about it. So I spoke about it earlier on how I spoke with my uncle, and my uncle told me, hey, if you can get all my kids on, you know what I mean? Like my G-Pops. My G-Pop said, if you can get all my daughters on and have them have the conversation, then I'll do it. And I was like, oh.
Wait, hold on. Tell me what's going on, because you sound like I missed a lot.
Well, you did. You just chiming in, so you just catching up. So there was a lot just happened before you got on, and I don't feel like repeating that shit because, you know what I mean? I feel like you can go back and watch the tape. You go back and watch the tape, but, you know what I mean? I want, when that conversation come about, when the people know what we're talking about, who that we're watching, when that conversation come about, there will be appointed to at its rightful time, at its rightful manner, you know. So with that being said, when is it tough to have, when is it the time to have tough conversation?
Never the right time. You gotta shoot it out there.
Facts.
You just gotta throw it out there. There ain't never the right time. Because you keep waiting on that moment, it's gonna never happen. You know, it's always gonna be an excuse, a reason why not to, or why this, or this not right now, or going through this or going through that. You just gotta just let it go. Just let it flow. Like turning on the faucet.
That's what my sister did in a way earlier. But
but the delivery about what Vicky did was unorthodox and also a little out of pocket. Period. You know what I mean? It wasn't about the timing. It wasn't about
good. You know what I mean?
It's cool. Great. All that's cool. But this is why things are dealt with a certain way. You just don't put a child into a driver's seat of a car and go drive the fucking car. No, you sit there and you navigate them through. Hey, this is what you do. This is gas pedal, blah blah blah. In order to have a functionality driver, it's the same way. When it comes to certain issues. When I say when it's the best time, it's the best time to have a tough conversation. It has to be dealt with in certain manners. And like people say, oh, you have to be ready or it's never the right time. I believe the time is always right because somebody might die tomorrow. We don't fucking know. Somebody might, be shipped off or whatever the case may be. It is important and behooves us to make sure that we handle things in an appropriate, not even just an appropriate manner. That's where I come from on it.
Appropriate. That's a good word. Appropriate.
So, Trish, when do you feel like it's time? When is it time to have tough conversations?
I genuinely like to handle the tough conversation as soon as possible. Myself, I just tackle things head on. If it's hard, it must be right. So
wait. Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Was that the bathroom, nigga?
Yeah, bathroom, nigga. This is the only spot where you can see me. Lights out.
She. Look, she.
You forgot I am in prison, nigga.
What the fuck? Oh my God, they're gonna be like, yo, this shit has to go.
You forgot where I'm at. Shit.
I'm so sorry, sis. I'm so sorry, sis. Yeah, me, yeah.
Ty, do you got some questions?
My bad, my bad. Go ahead,
No.
sis. Before she asks me, go ahead.
Like I said, we'll talk.
Let's mute. Wait, we gotta mute you, bro.
Fuck me up the other day.
This nigga got the bathroom. Okay. Anyway, Trish, when is the time? When is a good time to have the tough conversations?
Like most of everybody else said, there's no right time. So with me, I personally like to have tough conversations as soon as I possibly can. So I think it's best to handle the tough things. I don't like things to sit around and linger.
What is it? What does it do for you?
What does that do for me?
Yes.
Handling things right away?
No, what does it do for you in lingering?
Oh, it lingering? Oh, jeez. You know, I mean, it's great. I put on a good face and I can still do what I need to do. But internally, it dampers me. It does slow me down as much as I want to try to say it doesn't. The lingering, the not being able to just, let me say this, I've gotten to a point where I'm an adult. And so sometimes you can't just, if the other person ain't fucking with it, they're not fucking with it. They're not trying to talk to you. They're not trying to handle it. So if it's to that point, I know I gotta let it go. But it's still that there in the back, just bugging me.
So there was I'm not going to dig in too deep, but there was a conversation we was having earlier this morning about those people that that are close to you, and you mentioned that you just want to have the conversation because you feel like you guys can really get past what's at hand. Like not only you can get past it, but it could heal some hurt. You get what I mean?
So resolution is there.
Well, I feel like for that situation to have even taken place, for them to get to the point that they were with me, there has to be some kind of hurt. And I don't know if y'all heard me say earlier, in communication, you got to take yourself out. And so that was a form, what happened between us, that was a form of communication, maybe not the right kind. And that's where it took me to take myself out of it and look at it and say, okay, something's going on that hasn't been talked about. So whatever I've done, unfortunately, I don't know what it is, but it made you react this way to me. So I'm willing to find out what it was. Yeah, I took the bulk of everything. You know what I'm saying? I was the one with a little swollen eye, little damage to the car, some hurt ribs. I took the bulk of everything, but we family. So for you to get to that point with me, something's going on with you that's hurting you that I don't know about, and I love you. So I want to know what it is. Like, talk to me. Like, to me, I think that's what not dealing with the situation is going to affect me, because I'm like, what did I do to get you to this point?
Sometimes I think about my our family reunions, right? And we had this rest in paradise to my little brother, man. But we used to both of my brothers, man. But and a lot of people there was an altercation that was at hand, right? And I don't really speak of the dead, I don't really do that, but there was an altercation that was at hand that happened. And it happened between, not just because it was like a bulk of our family, and there was a whole bulk of another great grandparent in their whole family, right? And what was so awful is that it was actually happening, even though we all tried, we did our best stopping it or whatever. Our family reunions were not that big after that. You know what I mean? Like, that it really hurt me in a way because it really shielded me. It gave me a lot of course, you know what I mean. I ended up just saying, fuck it, I'm just going to it, fuck it. Just get the fuck away. Just keep my ass out on tour. You know what I mean? I ain't got to deal with the shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? All my shit is protected. My assets and shit, all that. I ain't got to risk it off. But probably fucking it up, right? Yeah. No, you know what I mean? Really, you know, it just kind of made things bad for me to where like my family felt like I didn't want to be around, and you know, like Kenneth, you don't, you know, like us, you think you too good, and you know what I mean. Like there was it built up other things that I didn't think were the case. You know what I mean? So I've always like tried to like my cousins. They always tell me like, you know, one of my cousins, he had got mad at me because he felt like I don't put a lot of my entertainment help in him. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? I do this. Like, nah, you don't. You know what I mean? Like, and I've seen him make moves that I didn't think was cool. You know what I mean? Like, as far as his career, you know, then at the end of the day, we all come back around, you know what I mean? Make our amends and apologize. And we're able to still have these conversations to this day, you know? So I think it's sometimes you got to give the person time because there was a long time. Like, it was a long time before me and Hakeem. It was a long time before me and Hakeem spoke because of music shit. A long time, you know, and I hated it because I feel like we lost so much money and it's, you know, like we could be putting it to some work, right? You know what I mean? But I hated it because I feel like you know what I mean? Not only that I fucked up being so quick to be like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just get the fuck on and leave, right? Fuck what the family talking about. I'm gonna just get the fuck on. I'm gonna be good, right? And actually, I really wasn't. I wasn't all that fucking, you know what I mean? I really wasn't, honestly. You know what I mean? I'm being straight up. But sometimes you just gotta, you know, just move and keep, you know what I mean, thriving on. So I think for me, it's patience, you know, but I understand, you know what I mean? Like, there's just things you just have to get by. Women filter it different, you know? Is the damage done by family repairable?
I think that anything is repairable when it comes to family. I know, like on the last show I was watching, you guys were talking, and Kat was saying that she don't want to leave no family behind, you know, and I'm like, I feel what she's saying. I got you with what you were saying. Like sometimes you just gotta, you know, do your thing because they not bringing nothing to the table. But I can detach myself, but I don't want to leave you behind. You know what I'm saying? So I think the door is always open for the repair. For me personally, I think, you know, if we didn't kill each other, there's a chance we can repair it.
I think there's a lot of people out there that feel different about that. Some people feel real strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Check my brother.
I think that just depending on what your definition of repair is, you know, I feel like at some point in time, yeah, there's probably an opportunity for you guys to speak about the situation. I don't think that every relationship can be repaired to the fact of you guys are going to be where you once was. Sometimes scars are just deep and a keloid, and they always going to leave that scar, and you just don't trust that person anymore. So that relationship is damaged. I think that with any relationship, if it's worth it and you guys love each other, that you can get to a point of being cordial and just love people from a distance. And I'm a big believer that sometimes you do have to love people from a distance, and you do got to walk in your lane, but still be present. So it just depends on what repair you're trying to make. You know, you trying to Mickey Mouse it. Daddy say, nigga rig it.
Can I respond? Can I respond? Because okay,
Yeah.
you brought me on here because of my situation. So we talking about repair. She made a good point. So in my personal situation with my brother, and when I say that, can it be repaired? Yes, she's absolutely right. What type of repairing? I never in the world ever mean that me and him is gonna be going on family vacations and being homies and being cool because we ain't never been like that. You understand what I'm saying? And after what he did, there's no way that I'm ever going to trust a man that has done that to me. You know what I'm saying? So I'll never repair it to the point to where we're there because we wasn't even there to begin with. But being cordial, we got the same mama. Being able to be at her funeral together and plan it, I hope that we can get to that point. Period.
Well, I think
I
Ty
don't want
said
nothing
it
more
best.
than that.
I think Ty said the best was like, well, nigga rig. You know what I mean? It might
There you
be,
go.
it might not be the best of repairing possible, but it is something so that the future generations can surpass our bullshit.
Amen.
Our bullshit. Because
Right there.
we don't need to keep carrying the same hump on our fucking back when we don't need to. Period. That's a bottom line for me, for sure.
Right
I don't
there.
want my kids to be destructed by the drugs and the alcohol and the secrets and the lies and the twists and the turns and the new founding fathers and all this bullshit that we have to sit there and find out. It starts the repair. I believe it may not be to the full extent of what we want. It might be a broken leg and be wrapped up with a blanket or a sheet until it heals. But nevertheless, that'll be it till it works. So I'm with you.
So
Yeah.
so notice we do got
I
two,
wanna
like a
I wanna
couple
jump
more
in.
callers.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on.
we do got a
I
couple
wanna jump
callers
in
here,
and answer that.
but Auntie, smash it. Is the damage done by family repairable?
I'm gonna have to say, let me say hello to everybody. Hey Candy, hey everybody. I'm gonna have to say the damage that is done by family, yes, it is repairable only if both parties are willing to go at it head on and let it go, apologize or whatever it is that needs to be repaired. It takes both parties to repair it. So it is repairable. Nigger rigging it is when it's not both parties. It's one person that fixed it and the other person is like, she think it's okay or he think it's okay. That's the nigger rig portion of it. So it is repairable if both parties if it's more than two people, 3 or 4 are willing to come in, sit on the table and get it repaired. Fuck cordial. Cordial is not something that family do. You're cordial with friends. But let's get cordial out of here. Cordial is not, I don't want to be cordial with my sisters, with my cousins. I want to be real with y'all. I want to sit at the table and be honest and love y'all. And I don't want to be cordial. I want us to be kind and move past whatever it is, like we did when we was kids. We did it with kids in the play yard. Hell, we fought and we was back friends with them like they family. So that's something that I want to do with my family as well. So when you say repair, yes, it can be repaired. Anything niggered is the other person, both parties is not willing to fix it. So I'm gonna have to say it can if both parties is willing to do it.
Well said.
Well said. Agreed. 2010.
Yeah.
We'll bring a couple more people up. So, people, if you actually,
But I'm only willing to nigger rig mine right at this moment. I just want everyone to know that. Just at this moment. I'm not saying permanently. We got to get to the full repair. But right now, we need a nigger rig it real quick.
It's your truth, and you're entitled to it. It's your truth, and you're entitled to it.
Creole chick, are you there? Creole chick, Creole.
Yeah, it's Creole. Unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself. We can't hear you. If you when you figure that out, you know what I mean. Come back, Amanda. Are you there, Amanda? Okay. You gotta unmute yourself if you're there. And people, it'd be great if you could get on camera. You know what I mean. They gotta unmute the people in the back. Y'all gotta unmute yourself if you're coming on camera. Creole and Amanda, but they here. And see, she probably don't know how to unmute herself. Yeah, you unmuted. You gotta unmute yourself on your end. Okay, well I'll let her figure that out. Um, um, but go ahead. So, like y'all was talking about the unfiltering part, you know what I mean? You got to get it out. I definitely agree, but I'm not trying to renege it, but yeah, we do have a time frame on the podcast. You know what I mean? And last time we was here till about maybe 3 to 4 hours, and before we head out of here, Trish, is there anything you like? What is it that you want to get off your chest so we can like really filter it out? You know
And
what I
leave on
mean?
the table.
Yep, and leave on the table.
We talking about in my own personal situation here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Everybody doesn't even know what the full situation is, but we're not going to get totally into it. Let's just say there was a confrontation between me and my siblings. I personally don't feel like fighting is ever an option with a family member. The only time I will ever fight a family member is if I have no choice at all but to defend myself. I swear, I let a family member get one good one in, and I still will try to walk away because listen, I come from the streets, and when you fighting, you're not just fighting it just like, oh, I just want to hit you here real quick. Fighting to me is one of us is gonna make it and one of us not. So with my family, I don't feel like fighting is ever an option. Walking away is the option until you're adult enough, you're level-headed enough to have whatever conversation you need. Period, point blank. And kids are absolutely off freaking limits. And I don't care how old the children are. I don't give a damn. If your niece, your nephew is 52 years old, kids are off limits. If you have a problem with your sibling, it is between you and your sibling, not you and their child. Period. Point blank. And when your kids are around, you should hold yourself. You should just be able to walk away to set an example. Family is family. We should never shed blood. We should never pull guns out. We should never freaking fight. I don't feel that there's ever an exception unless you have to defend yourself, which is crazy because your family. You should not be defending yourself against family.
Hey Sarah. Welcome. Just came in.
Hey y'all. Hey Sam.
Hey,
Crazy.
sister.
We
Hey,
just about to, we got like 40 minutes before we head out of here. Actually, 20 minutes. I'm so sorry. 30 minutes before we head out of here. But is there anything you want to leave off your chest that we can filter out in the Gasmasktribe? Where we filter out that bullshit? No, I'm playing. But anything you want to get off your chest, man? Family edition.
not yet.
Not yet. Our last question was: Is the damage done by family repairable?
Possibly. Depends on what was done and
Thank you, Jesus.
not always. No. I believe like just
Straight
because
up.
you're family, it doesn't mean that you have to endure like pain or mistreatment or what have you over and over and over again. Whatever your limit is, I mean, I believe you should give people chances, especially your family, right? Um, times to get it right. But at some point, if something's disrupting my livelihood, disrupting me being a mother, me like family or not, I'm a love you from afar. Because at the end of the day, listen, I got bills to pay, I got kids to feed, and if having you in my life still and we can repair whatever it is and it's disrupting that, then it's my obligation. It's my duty as a parent, as other things, to put that over there if I have to, no matter who you are.
Yeah, I'm so sad. It took me dang 40 years to learn to do that right there. I love you over there.
Yeah, yeah. And I think with some people, depending on who the person is, we may do that less times with or more times with, you know? Because I think it depends on your relationship with certain people or how bad you want a relationship with certain people in your family, where you just like, no, we got to get this right. And you just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. And then, but at some point, at some point, I get it. You got to stop if it's, affecting you to that degree. I've had to do it,
I agree.
you know.
Mhm.
But to answer the question, yes, it can be repairable, but it depends. Because we all at fault. We all mess up. We all make mistakes, And I will hope and pray that someone, my family, forgives me and tries again with me. I'm very forgivable. Like you'd have to do a lot for me to cut you off. You know what I'm saying? And some people are not like that. Sometimes some people are, you do it a couple times and they like, I'm good. Um, but for me personally, I have the capacity and the ability to see beyond whatever the situation is. Because 9 times out of 10, when there's a disagreement, or not just a disagreement, when there's something that you're even considering about cutting somebody off, it's usually something bigger than what's right there. And I just have the ability and the capacity to see beyond that. So that's why me personally, I'm able to like give people more than one chance, because I get most of the time it ain't got nothing to do with you, it's them. So I try to meet people where they are and help them if possibly, even if it's hurting me. But you can only do it for so long.
So I literally wanted that moment because sometimes I don't get to see like the females in the family, like have conversation. So this was kind of good for a cool couple seconds, like just kind of have that little girl power, man. And so we got JP just walked in the building. Oh yeah. So I definitely, what I mean, will be this is big for me, what I mean. I literally was not, what I mean, going at life really crazy when I was thinking about like opposing the questions. And I tend to not really try to make these questions deep. I try to make them generalize it, or what I mean, try to like keep it simple, not trying to be all like deep, but I do like for people to kind of like keep them, put stuff on the table, kind of like leave with something on the heart that, you know, someone in the family didn't know, or something that we can empower, you know what I mean, ourselves on. And like, wow, I didn't know that, or I didn't know they thought like that. Like, I really understood my aunties when they came on the podcast on the last episode. Right, I really understood them different, you know what I mean, after that, you know, and it was really good to see that interaction. So I just, you know, I mean, for me, I guess I look at things a different perspective than everyone, you know. But I just really feel that. Also, my other cousin, Missy, when Missy came on, along with Sarah, like just hearing you guys' perspectives, you just don't see this, because every time we see each other, you know what I mean, it's always some fuck shit. Like, what good? How you doing? You know what I mean? And it's
Right.
but like, or we getting into it. Somebody socked somebody out, somebody got too drunk, somebody got mad. You know, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Right.
And it's either a super high or a super fucking low. And it's like, of course, we shouldn't have that type of nature. You know what I mean? Like, we really shouldn't. I get it, you know, but we all say it's life, right? You know, it's life. It's
I
but
think
life.
that's the crutch to just, and that's why it don't change much,
But
because
this
it's
don't
life.
happen. But a lot of this shit don't happen in other cultures, you know, in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? And most people might. And I'm never depicting our culture like somebody else's. So no, I'm not. You know what I mean? But if we had to just be around the good, you know, community, everybody ain't flying to our own like that. You know what I mean? So I'm only just kind of giving this view of like, this was just something that I just wanted to lay out on the table, like, you know what I mean, our own, just how I feel about us, you know, having these, coming out and saying, you know, being truthful. I do it all the time, so this don't really phase, you know, me in a way. But I'm glad y'all here. I'm glad to see this, you know, really am. JP, you got something you want to leave with the people before we head out? You know what I mean? You know, our podcast be lasting like 6 hours, 4 hours. You know what I mean? And I'll be like going to bed at like 3 a.m., maybe
I don't know
5
what the subject
sometimes.
was.
It's early tonight. It's only 8:00.
I know,
Yeah,
huh?
but we're not trying to have the 5-hour podcast with 6 hours draining. Yo, I'm burnt, yo, like straight to fuck up.
Hey,
We've been up since I've been up. We was on the phone with Trish at
Yeah,
4
they
o'clock.
called me at like 4.
Like, you know what I mean? And that was from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Me and Ben sitting there putting the show together. So
Knocked out sleep.
so I definitely really appreciate this. Yo, JP.
Yeah, I don't know what the
JP.
question was.
I know there was no question. It was what you want to leave the people with.
I don't know, man. Should take care of each other. I don't even know what we're talking about.
I know that's we actually got in
Usually
here.
there's some kind of
Our main topic of the show was, what is the cure to mental health for the family and progress?
I would say one of the first things would be acknowledgement. You know what I mean? And you know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a stigma that there's, you know, shame there. So I would just say, you know, if you show me somebody who claims that they never had an issue with mental health, then, you know, I might challenge that in one way or another, because I think at one point, you know, everybody deals with it. You know, some people deal with it, you know, longer than others. Some people deal with it at a deeper level. But I think it's there. You know, I think it would be hard to live in the world that we live in and not have experienced some type of mental health issues, concerns, what have you, at some point or another. So I think the first step would be acknowledgement, you know, and, you know, like comforting somebody and not making somebody feel a certain way about whatever it is they're going through, to the point where they don't say nothing to nobody until it's too late. So that's just my 2 cents.
You know, and you answered it, you know what I mean, accordingly. me and Ron was talking about these questions. He was like, "Man, you know your questions good. You know, like where you be coming out with them, they could be better." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Well, thank you, cousin. I really appreciate that shit. You know, that shit hurt, but I appreciate the shit. All right, you know what I mean?" And
I'm
I
gonna
think,
filter out the bullshit.
That's constructive criticism.
hey, but you know, nigga, we
your-
artists. We
Take your
sensitive
feelings
about
out of it.
we sensitive. You know what I mean? I'm an
Whoa.
artist. I'm sensitive. You know what I
Don't
mean?
be sensitive.
But
You want to be
Erica
great,
Badu
you can't be
said,
sensitive.
Erica Badu said, I'm an artist. I'm sensitive. But you know what
Can't
I
be
mean?
sensitive with family.
You
And I
can't
was,
be sensitive
and I was
with
coming for a
husband.
good way. I was like, the questions could be a little, excuse me, not a little, but just better phrased, better, better to place.
You don't use that ADD ass shit with me. I felt dumb as shit. You know, you could be.
Nah, nigga.
You know what, cousin? I
Huh?
agree. They could be better.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I had to like, you know what I mean?
Thank you, sis.
Because I always think of questions generalizing. I'm never thinking of questions of like to be so in depth. I'm always generalizing a question because I like the person to come at the question from their own perspective and their own experience, right? But I like to generalize it because if you generalize it, we are on the public platform and you generalize it so that other people can see themselves in it. And a lot of times doing these things, a lot of people don't look at the questions as they think it's supposed to be like this actual like, well, I need to know the actual content or the context of the question to understand the question. It's like, is the fucking sky blue? Well, what do you mean is the sky blue? You know what I mean? And it's like those are the those are the things that kind of like, you know what I mean, I feel like, well, Ron, you know what I mean, we was
Well, I
working
think
on it. He was asked, no, look, he was like, you know, he was like, yeah, you know, one woman. I was like, you're right, I can be I can, because me, I'm always thinking like straight to the point, right? But sometimes people do need a walkthrough, you know what I mean, like on things. And
no. See, I'm fine with what is the sky blue, but if you go, what blue sky do we have? That's a question that is kind of weirdly worded for people. Yeah, it's broad, and you'd be like, okay, now this can go into a philosophical point and this and that, but or we can get into some poetic shit or however the case may be. But it's, you know, what is the sky blue is a more direct
basically,
question.
he's saying he's an asshole. You know what I mean? He's saying I'm an asshole and I like fucking with you, bro. Like, you know, so
Call it,
let's,
hey, call it how you may.
you know.
Call it how you
So
may,
I
man.
mean, but he ain't certified in 13 countries. He got one. You know what I mean? So,
I'm certified in 18. That's the difference.
hey Joey, we
Yo,
always gonna use that shit.
yeah, I see you're not gonna let that go. I see you're not gonna let that go. Hey, but you know what though? Everybody been calling me an asshole for so long. You know, I am who I am. But
You
I
just
got a big
misunderstood,
heart.
Joey. You just misunderstood.
You know what, Ty? I honestly believe so, but you know, I got to the point where honestly, I don't have so much effort to keep explaining that to everybody. So people just like, hey, he's an asshole. You know what? In my own ways, yeah, I am an asshole. But you know, somebody gets to know me, then they'll understand what's going on. I got a big heart, and
Yeah, you're just an initial asshole, but you're not an asshole.
I don't know if that's I don't know how to feel about that. So I'm supposed to say thank you.
Initially, people are gonna take you as being an asshole because just how you are, just the way you bring stuff to the table, the way you carry yourself. They're not used to that, especially being in this family. Everybody's more loving and open and hey, what's up? And you more like, I gotta get to know you. And then
But you know what though,
I'm gonna
that
show
kind of
you the
goes
real
to
Joey. You're gonna get that softer and loving and unconditional type of Joey. Like Joey gonna go to war for you. But
right.
initially you real reserved, and that's always mistaken as either conceited, asshole, you know, people that are more reserved and keep to themselves, and you tend to keep to yourself, you observe a lot. And
Yeah.
then you come out of your shell and it's like, oh shit. You know,
Right. Pooh had said something. Remember, Biz, she had, when we were talking, I don't know, I think last week, and I mentioned about me being sensitive, you know, and you know, it's like in one way or another, it's a defense mechanism that I created over the years because, you know, if you hurt my feelings enough, I mean, I get my feelings hurt easily. I really, really do. So I'm 41 years old. It is what it is. It's been like that. So after a while, yeah, I step back. I observe, like you said, until I can kind of feel people out and see exactly what I'm dealing with. And then, you know, it's not me being arrogant or conceited. That's the last thing that I am. I actually suffer from, not suffer, but deal with like a lack of confidence a lot of times. So it's not that. It's just that, you know what? I'm gonna stay over here. I want to make sure you don't hurt me. And then a lot of times I end up hurting other people because I believe that it's gonna come to my way anyway. So that's there's a bit of a dysfunction there, but it comes from a place of self-preservation. So if I go into a situation, a house, an environment, and I'm just hey everybody, let's have a good time. A lot of times people would take my kindness as a sign of weakness, and then when I respond to that, then it's like, oh, Joey's tripping, and a lot of people don't even see what got Joey to that point. Because when I do start tripping, yeah, I'm tripping, and you know, it's what it is. So, you know, that's what it is. It's you know, I'm just sensitive, and I don't want nobody to hurt my feelings.
You right? No, go ahead. So I mean, generally I'll do a free for all, like you know, what I mean, I kind of like just like let everybody just kind of feel free. And to answer in the private chats, a lot of the questions that I was bringing to both podcasts are literally questions I just want to know. So it's not like I'm coming from again. It's not like I'm coming from this, you know, journalist standpoint. You know what I mean? Well, let's see the analytical, you know, vibration of what the energy source of what. No, I just really want to know, like, and that's why I asked the questions in a way, and you know what I mean, and just to kind of help us, you know what I mean, you know, maybe, and that might you might go on a tantrum, you know what I mean, and maybe that's what it was for. You get what I mean? So it's just the flow, you know what I mean. I like for everybody just to have fun and flow and things like that, you know what I mean, and not hold anything, you know, judgment, you know what I mean, just kind of leave it out there on the table. I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Definitely, I was going to answer a couple questions from before last podcast with Trish, and I just want to ask her this one before we head out of here. It's like my high note, you know what I mean, to keep the family on a high note. Get it. So that's it. Loving your family can be beneficial to your legacy. Loving your family can be beneficial to your legacy. Can it be, Trish?
Yeah, of course it could be. But yeah.
Not personally. You know what I mean? Not like
Like it can be beneficial. I mean,
through the drama, through the fights, through the headaches. I mean, because you know we always use this love thing as it's this, you know what I mean, just like a blanket, you know what I mean? Like, you could just wave a blanket on the motherfucker. You know what I mean? But I love to me is an action, you know what I mean? And so even though we'll fight and bicker and go back and forth or whatever, still love your family, you know? And my thing was, you know, to me, yes, it is beneficial. You know what I mean? Whether y'all get along or not, whether I leave you in the back ends and I come back and pick you up, you know what I mean? It's my love for you. It'll never die. You know, um, I'm literally, and so I don't. For that's how I want you to come at it. In essence, loving your family can be beneficial to your legacy.
absolutely, I do not fuck with my brother and sister, but I love them to death. If they need me, it's like some real shit. Like you know, we gotta go to war. I got them, but don't come and visit me at my house. Like just because we're not kicking it, I don't like you like that.
Well, see, that ain't gonna help the legacy.
Hey, and that's what it is right now.
Golly.
Wait, Biz, that's what it is right now. That's not my choice. I would love to kumbaya. You know what I'm saying? I would love to get together and fry some chicken or something. But I can't make other people want to fry chicken with me. So right now, I love them to death, but you know, we just can't kick it. But loving them, I'm never gonna stop. It's like earlier somebody said, I think it was Kat. She said, I don't know if it was the last episode, the last one I was watching, she had said that her kids, she taught her kids, even though her sister wasn't around, who her sister was. So no matter how torn apart or how distant I am from my brother or my sister, it's my love is important for my legacy, because I still teach my kids, they know who they aunties and uncles are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never going, we could be as distant as we want to be, but baby, me and my niece and nephew, we gonna kick it. You know what I'm saying? And so it is important, very important for the legacy. But I don't have to hang out with you all the time if you ain't right for me at that time in my life. If you bring me nothing to the table, okay. If you family and you bring nothing to the table, I'll still be your friend. But if you family and you damaging what I got going on, which is myself, then I got to exclude you from my table.
Hey, well, I hope y'all don't get me mixed up with that. If you don't bring shit to the table, keep your ass outside.
Hey, you know, I'ma still talk to you, bitch. You know, I'ma talk to somebody, you family.
You know, I always gotta fuck with people because you know everybody be taking this so like, you know what I mean? Like they'll take it so, you know what I mean? They'll take it so, you know, so to the chest because like Joey said, you know, we family and you know, we're personal, you know what I mean? We sensitive about our shit, you know. So and I you know, I get it and I always like to shine light on some type of humor. I mean, most people say I have a dark sense of humor because of, you know what I mean? Because I laugh at the pain a lot, you know what I mean? And you know, it could be gut wrenching. It could be hurtful. You know how many gut wrenching conversations I had with my mama? Like that shit was hard. Like crazy. Hurtful. Gut wrenching. I mean, like she shot me in the stomach like that. Damn, I really it was like you could be like you put me to the side like that, nigga. Like damn.
Sorry, it's empty.
Yeah, that shit over with. I wasn't gonna say that shit over with. Hey, Tyler like that person. Hey, hold on. Tyler like that person. So like that person at the gas station. You know when you grab that nozzle, you got a nozzle like an extra 3 gallons about to fall out. That shit's gone.
So
every drip count.
Hi, baby. I'm in the office. She's don't know I'm in the other room.
So cute.
I'm in the office if you want to come see me. Come here.
So Biz, I don't know if you circling that question around to everybody answering that question to end it and wrap it, were you? Or was that just
go ahead. For it.
Yeah, so I think absolutely. It's definitely important for the legacy, absolutely, because a legacy is something that you leave, you know, so that it's still standing. And if you built it right, it will still withhold and stand. And, you know, you could take those values and foundations with you and then leave them behind for your kids to continue to build on. So I feel like it's definitely important as far as legacy. It's not going to be an easy road, that's for sure. We all can attest to that. But I think, loving your family is definitely important for the legacy. And just looking from my point of view, you know, just the way, like, you know, my dad, how he is and how he loved and continue to be a part of the family. That's why I think that's where I'm so much like him. That's why I go out my way now that I'm an adult and I can make my own decisions and choose not to carry any baggage, is because he never really gave me the baggage of family. So he left that, he already made that legacy, at least in my eyes. So for me, I'm like, you love your family, you love your family, and you want to get to know them, build their bonds. It bothers me to come to a family reunion or get together and everybody calling me cousin, or they know more about me than I know about them. And they talking to me as if we best friends.
Ty is funny as
You
fuck.
that they
Ty,
talk to me. No, seriously, real shit. It bothers me when people come up to me and like, girl, I used to change your diapers. Girl, I know you when you was this and this and that, which is all good to hear,
Oh, I
but
thought
I
you
don't
were about
have
something
those
else.
memories in my mind. So, that bothers me. So for me, it's like, I look at that like, okay, you my family. I want to get to know you. I want to know who you are. I want to know, what you like, what you get into. See if we can collab. See if we can just be more than just, girl, I used to change your diapers. You know what I mean? Like, I want to leave something there. So my dad is that person where everybody know him. Everybody know him. Like, people be like, who are you? I'm like, I'm Uncle Lester's daughter. And everybody like, oh my God, you Uncle Lester's daughter, girl. And I'm like, oh, okay. So for me, to get back to the question, loving your family, yes, is very important to the legacy. Now, if you want to continue that legacy, it's going to be a personal choice. But for me, loving your family is definitely important to your legacy, and that's why I'm big on my daughter about that. Like, you need to know who your family is. I show her pictures like, this is so and so, this is this person, this is that, because at the end of the day, I want you to know. I want you to have that. So I know I did my part. And whatever you decide to continue and build on, that's going to be left up to you. But it wasn't nothing that I did. I didn't hinder you. I didn't keep it from you. I showed you who your family is and spoke highly of them. And now it's up to you to reach your arm out and continue that bond, because I love it. I had the opportunity to go out there and visit Pooh, and I was like, I loved it. I was so in awe. Like,
I'm glad.
back
I changed no diaper. No.
Oh yeah, and I came back and I was telling Sarah,
Y'all was out there
Right.
twerking.
we was lit. We was
Y'all
lit.
was twerking.
But you guys, the beauty of it was that I don't know Pooh that well, and that's just real. You know what I mean? I don't know her personally that well. But when I came, she came at me like family. She came at me like, bitch, cousin, pull up. Get the bottle. Like, we chilling, we hanging, and where I'm at in life, that's all I want. So good. It felt so good. And then I have, my friends with me, and they was like, "This your cousin house?" I'm like, "Yeah, bitch, it's my cousin. Yeah, it's like a dollhouse. We live. Yeah, she a hairstylist."
And Ty, you said it best. It's for Ty said it best. It's for us as the parents to, let our children know who and what family is and who they are. And the good thing today, I can say for our generation, is we do have social media. For our parents' generation, they didn't have social media. Here is why Ty, they could have kept, reintroducing you guys to your other cousins who you don't see much. They could have kept reintroducing, because that's what you needed, was a reintroducing. Like, okay, that's cousin Pooh. She so and so and so and so. And the good thing for us is we have social media to do it. But our parents, I don't know how many pictures, I know for your dad, Uncle Lester got videotapes everywhere. And I hated when Missy them say, "Oh, we watched the tape when you was little and your hair was nappy and this and that." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Throw them away." So it's up to our parents. Like you said, as a mother, you show your daughter, this is your cousin so-and-so. Me, myself, as a mom, I always have showed my kids Loretta, because that's my sister that was disappearing so much. I'm like, when y'all meet Auntie Loretta, and I had to keep reintroducing Auntie Loretta, because there was times that she was there. They were younger. They made me remember her then. And as they get older, they may not remember her.
So I had to keep reintroducing Auntie Loretta. This is Auntie Loretta. This is my sister. Like Trish. Trish is my cousin from my dad's side. I had to introduce my kids to my cousin Trish more than once. No, that's Trish. That's my cousin from my dad's side. Trish, you know, a couple of years ago, you met Diamond. And I had Diamond say, Mama, she's not our cousin, really, is she? Yes, that's our cousin from my dad's side. I had to keep reintroducing to my grandkids. My granddaughter knows who's who because I keep reintroducing it. And that is something that we have to continue to do for the ones who's never done it. We need to start doing it because it may, like, social media is great. These podcasts, these videos are great, but it may be the opportunity. We may not ever have the opportunity to introduce them in person until they land in their casket.
True.
You know, Auntie Catherine, it was introducing her. I had to introduce Auntie Catherine to my grandchild, who I failed to let her know who Auntie Catherine was. I'm named after her. I could have kept pulling her legacy. Hey, y'all know I told you guys. Yep, y'all forgetting about Auntie Catherine. That's your daddy's sister. And it wasn't until she was in her casket that some of us was introduced to her. So if we start to do that now, of course, like I said, our parents didn't have the tools that we have. We have great tools. We have tools that leave us no excuses. There's no excuses now for us, our generation, you know, to let our family legacy go on.
Amen. That's true.
There is a lot of us, and
a lot.
You know, we're having kids. Our kids are having kids. Some of us kids are having kids. You know, and it's a lot. There's more than just us. I mean, our generation goes, it goes far. And for the ones, like I said, when it comes to repairing, for the ones that want to, that is the only way things are going to be repaired.
Only way.
For the ones that she get on my nerves. For the ones that want to. And you know, I thank Biz for what he's doing, because I think it is a great opportunity for us to do this, for us to get some repairing started. I think, you know, like I said, Biz, I told him yesterday, I know a lot of people feel some type of way about how I speak. I speak the way I speak is because I speak with passion behind it. I don't speak the way I speak because I'm mad at anybody. Like Trish say, one thing you should never do is come to blows with your family, your sisters, your cousins. So I've never did that with none of my family. So when I speak, it's not that I'm mad, it's that I'm speaking with passion. And I'm not going to change my words or my tone because I mean what I'm saying. Even if I'm just speaking greatness, it's because I'm speaking it with passion. You guys are my family. Y'all not bitches off the streets or niggas off the street. You're my family. Yeah. And this is my passion. I'm with it. So if it takes me to be the icebreaker in the bulletproof vest, bring it on. I'm here. I'm here to break the ice. I'm here to take the punches. I'm here to do it. But what we need to do as a family is what we're doing. For the ones that's watching, some of us is camera shy. We're family. Some of us is ashamed of what has happened. We're family. Let it go. Some of us grew up in the same house. Sarah, we grew up in the same house as little kids. We know a lot of things that happened when we were little kids. So there's no shame. We don't have no shame. Rest in peace. I know I used to punch him like a punching bag. My cousin, because he was a month younger, and I thought that I was older, but I used to punch him, and he let me do it. It was stuff that we did. You know, this is what we did as a family. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. I know a lot of us, and that's where the mental health comes from, because a lot of us is ashamed of our past, and we can't get past it because we're ashamed to face it. We're ashamed of what's going to come out of it. That we have to let go because we are family. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And I'm going to say it now. If anybody feel ashamed of anything that has happened and anybody want to try to throw some stones at you for it, they fucking wrong, and we will tell them and we will keep going. So we got to let the ashamed part go so that we can heal. And I know Ty mentioned keloid. Keloids can heal. Keloids can be healed. It can be corrected and healed, and you will never know it was there. So at this point, that's what we need to start. A lot of us got keloids. We need to reopen them motherfuckers, let it get treated, and let it heal so that we can move past it. Keloids are ugly. I don't want to hold on to no ugly keloids.
So
we need to let it go. Go ahead, Kenneth.
Well said. Well said. Trish.
Captain.
I see you crying.
Oh,
There's something you want to say?
No, it's just it's you know, when she went into family not fighting and stuff, like, you know, I'm not really speaking much up on my whole situation, but like it just hit me because, you know, I love my brother and sister to death. There's nothing in the world like the way I was attacked by them. Even with them still attacking me the way they did, I could not bring myself to fight, not even to protect myself against them. I couldn't protect myself because of that love. Like, it just hit me, you know, like, that's crazy. Family should never, ever, like, why? Absolutely. What is wrong with using your words? What is wrong with speaking?
Absolutely.
But because of the shame, we don't speak.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's self-shame. Sometimes it's shame that's not even yours. But that really is what keeps us from being able to actually communicate sometimes. The hurt, the pain, the shame. I just, that's the only reason why I was tearing up, you know?
Right. No, I'm with you.
It's good to get out. That's what we're here for. That's what we all here for.
Right.
I cried the other day.
Yeah, I'm an ugly ass crier too, y'all. So I know
it's okay.
You know, my face just get all
No, my daughter is an ugly crier. You know,
me too.
I saw my picture there. I said, "Pull it together, girl. You look crazy, cry. Your face is not cute right now."
No, Trish, you look like Grandmommy Loretta.
I'm trying to. Granny is cute though, but I'm not looking at that cry face.
I like to get a little bit of the comments in before we end the podcast. Loretta McKenzie said, "Looking for who they lose, not what they were looking for. The changes I think name and the changes up. What? That's all the time when you want to take the whether you want to make a man you still got." Not sure what she meant by that, but
I think she said I think she mean maybe amend.
Maybe, yeah. But she did also say I ain't gonna spend too much on that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But she did make sense on this last one. We still talking about the problem, but what is the solution? I think that's a very, very good question, Loretta. Thank you for putting it out there. But before we get into the solution and just jumpstart, we need to understand why the hurt was even caused, so that way the history doesn't repeat itself.
Absolutely.
And that we have a better understanding, so we can teach the ones that we are now in care of, such as our kids, a better way to handle it and now have a proper solution. Because there's been a lot of men and women in our life that thought they had the solution. It wasn't right. They could swear up and down they had the solution. So it's gonna take us understanding and why, and filtering out why we were hurt and why we were damaged to begin with, putting spreading the light onto the dark and bringing all the stuff that we hide and we push back to the forefront. It has to happen. It's been too long that we've been stepping on the bones of the skeletons we keep in our closet, and that's the reason why Probably a lot of us can't even sleep at night
Ooh, I think
because
none of us sleep at night.
that's straight up.
Oh no, I sleep at night, baby.
So that
I
will
sleep at
be,
night.
this topic will be a point of topic on our next podcast. Is
Absolutely.
us literally spending the time to talk about the solution, the solutions.
And another thing I want to add for Loretta's question, her statement, we're still talking about the problem, but what's the solution? So for all of us that's talking about it, the first thing is we have to address the problem to get to the solution. So I think what we're doing right now, we're finding a
Mhm.
solution. We're doing it. We can't tell you the solution is this because we're finding it. So for all of us that's here, I notice, every time we get on, it's another person, another person. We're finding the solution. So that's what we're doing as a family together. We're doing that as a team. Nobody have the solution right now. If we had the solution, we wouldn't be here talking about the problem.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. So the solution is for us to look for it. That's what we're doing. And let's do it as a team. It takes a village. It takes a team
So
to get to the top.
so that's definitely is going to be a point of our next podcast. Notice you want to read a couple more before we.
Um, Sarah, did you have something that you wanted to comment on here, real quick?
No, not really in particular. I'm just I'm just hearing everybody out and taking in the information.
Okay. Then
I'll have
I'll
lots more
move
to
on.
say next time.
Absolutely. I'll move on to the next comments. We got T. McKenzie says, I damn. Hold on, hold on, cousin. Yes, thank you, nephew. It's time for us to heal. And who is a cute crier?
I seen a few. So don't listen.
I
Not
don't think
me.
none of us is a cute crier
That's a
because I'm
fake
ugly
cry
as
when you
shit.
cute fake crying.
I was trying, but I couldn't
You
get
know,
couldn't
that's
do
the
it.
fake cry when you do it cute.
Only cry
So
I know is a real one.
Right.
so before Notice get us out of here, I want to give respect to the panel. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Cat Mac, thank you so much. You always come through and drop gems. Sarah, Big Sis, was goody. Thank you so much. Ty, you already know, you know what I mean? We're like two pit bulls, you know what I mean? Trish, we definitely will have a part two so we can get,
Absolutely.
siblings on, so we can have that conversation. Um, I will do my best to reach out to them and to see if we can maybe, have this conversation, you know. I appreciate you so much for just bringing it forward and, I
Yeah.
Absolutely.
mean, shedding your heart. Also, we have two of our guests in the back. They just been back to like they the big homies. They be in the back chilling. I want to put them on the podcast and let Notice in the side of here. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so much, and I appreciate y'all.
Love y'all, family.
Love y'all too.
Love you
Oh,
all.
oh,
Um,
oh, you what?
go ahead. Anybody? Cat, JP, any notes? In the word? Ray? Anything you want to end it
Nah.
with?
I basically, I think Loretta Loretta had a great statement. We still talking about it. We still talking about the problem. What's the solution? At this point, I think I said it earlier. Like there's no one in this family is gonna shame you. So let's let go of the shame. Trish, I thank you for that. When somebody can break down, let words break them on down, that's when you start your process of healing. So this is real, people. We on here, we doing this for real. We not doing this just to see our family's face and laugh and talk and play.
Mhm.
We
For
doing it for
play.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is the time. Let's start the process of us seeking the solution to end this family madness. You guys, everybody spoke about what they feel is holding us up. So let's continue to work on the solution, because we got the problem. Yes, now let's work on the solution.
Thank you so much, Auntie.
With
We're
that
gonna
being
definitely have the
said,
next podcast.
yeah,
No,
that's
Ray, you want to say something before you get child time?
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you because
you keep your ass out of there next time.
I don't know why it still amazes me that they are just like in with the phones and media and everything. It's so amazing to me.
It is.
I be seeing them on
Definitely
TikTok and
2022.
everything.
It's 2022 for sure. Niggas in
I
the
said,
pen with fucking
hey,
cell
social
phones.
media works for everybody today.
Oh, God damn.
they had
Yeah.
Just when y'all get the messages with the
Hey,
brick wall behind the picture,
I'm glad we can talk
don't
and
Go ahead, Ray. You gotta give him a couple seconds.
Hey, no, I'm just glad that we all can get together and talk and be able to get to see each other. It helps us to heal. It helps us to communicate and bring us closer, especially when we're going through hard times that we're going through now. And just basically, like you're saying, open up a lot of wounds and close them back up. But I just want to put one thing out there. I love all y'all. I love all my family, regardless of whatever happens and whatever happened in the past.
We love you too.
And I believe that we all should come together, and we should all be more closer than we are, because our kids don't even know each other, and we don't need to bring the old legacy to the new legacy. We're a big loving family, and most of us don't even know each other.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ray, when you due date?
Yeah. Oh, if I'm good, I get out in 6 months if I don't break nobody's face.
You keep that same fucking energy. You keep that same energy, nigga. Straight up, keep that same energy.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I thought I was gonna get fucked up. Ooh, I've been trying.
Man, you gotta finish your words, man. You can't be saying words slow and shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be saying words slow, man.
You thought he was gonna get
yeah, man. The words be coming out a little slow. Like, I'm gonna say, you thought you was about to be.
Man.
What?
You always with the jokes, niggas.
All right, man.
They don't call me big. I ain't big dog for nothing.
I love you, cousin.
Hey, you gotta love us for that, Ray.
I love you, cousin. Yeah, I love
He's
y'all.
gonna be in the background. He got
I love you.
Hey, friend.
Hey,
what's up, Bunky?
Hey, friend in the back.
Yeah. Hey, Bunky, like, yeah, he got. Hey,
Oh, wow.
Bunky, he got bitches on here.
Okay. Oh, wow.
He got females.
that's what's up.
Y'all got holes in their motherfucker.
You saw that shit? He shared his live.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, when the next family reunion? When the next family reunion?
We out of here, y'all.
I'm bringing it to Molly.
Love y'all.
Fucking
Love everybody.
Bye.